Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga could not understand why the dockets had to be transferred to Pretoria for auditing when it could have been done in KZN.
Why did the dockets have to come up to head office for that simple process?
The instruction for the dockets to be brought to Pretoria were given by Crime Intelligence Head Dumisani Khumalo. It's understood that suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya instructed Khumalo to manage the handover process of the dockets, as he is the project coordinator of the KZN PKTT. During his testimony, Khumalo conceded he issued the instruction, a decision he claimed he later regretted. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
NPA head advocate Shamila Batoyi is set to back her allegations against Johannesburg prosecution's boss Andrew Chauke at the inquiry into his fitness to hold office. The hearings were established by President Cyril Ramaphosa after he suspended Chauke for serious allegations. Chauke is accused of quashing the prosecution of politically connected individuals and making questionable decisions. Khomozo Modise has more.
The inquiry of advocate Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office as Director of Public Prosecutions in Johannesburg was prompted by NPA head Shamila Batoyi's complaint in 2023. Batoyi will be the first witness to testify during this morning's sitting, where she's expected to be critical of Chauke's prosecutorial decisions. Yesterday, the Commission heard that Batoyi has requested to testify without any pauses or interruptions in the testimony, to which the chair, retired Justice Besan Kabinde, responded.
It is not for Advocate Batoyi to decide how we are going to proceed in this inquiry. When she's called to testify, she will come and testify, and should come to testify.
Once she's read her statement, Batoyi will be cross-examined by Chauke's lawyers, led by advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi. Khomozo Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says the government is still investigating the arrival of more than 150 Palestinians at OR Tambo International Airport. The group landed last Friday and was left stranded for more than 12 hours on the tarmac for not having the required permits to be in the country. 130 people were eventually allowed into the country after humanitarian group Gift of the Givers offered them accommodation, and the rest went to other destinations. Lamola addressed the matter yesterday while giving a state of readiness for the G20 summit briefing at Nasrec.
It is indeed an issue of concern to us. It does look like it represents a broader agenda to remove Palestinians from Palestine into many different parts of the world, and it's a clearly orchestrated operation.
Meanwhile, the UN Security Council has voted in favor of a US-drafted resolution that endorses President Donald Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza. The plan includes the deployment of an international force and a path to a future Palestinian state. Under the resolution, International Stabilization Force will work with Israel and Egypt, along with the newly trained and vetted police force, to help secure border areas and ensure the process of permanently demilitarizing non-state armed groups, including Hamas. Until now, the police there have operated under the authority of Hamas. The resolution was backed by 13 countries, including France and Somalia, with none voting against the proposal. Russia and China abstained.
The result of the voting is as follows: 13 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 2 abstentions. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2803, 2025.
Gold is trading at $4,017.10 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.62 to the pound, 19.94 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays in Calvin along the N3 North between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic already along the Marquardt North between Boyeson's Road and the Crown interchange.
And in your sport, the Springboks have an action-packed year ahead with the launch of the Nations Championship, a biennial tournament that sees North battle South starting from 2026. And Germany and the Netherlands cruise in qualifying for the FIFA World Cup.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers. Johannesburg starting at 12 degrees, peaking at 20. Pretoria 14 and 22. For the Inching 11 and 22 as well. The top story in EW and the Sawa. Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga has described the transfer of 121 police dockets from KwaZulu-Natal to Pretoria for inspection as nonsensical.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Seven minutes after 6 o'clock, it's a Tuesday morning. It's the 18th of November, the year of our Lord 2025. Welcome to the program. Wherever you are listening, Irene, Midrand, Mamelodi, Sharpeville, are you in Duduza, Bupilong, Katlehong, Buipatong? It doesn't matter. Welcome one, welcome all. It's a great pleasure to have you on our show, listening to us as you drive, as you get ready for work, as you arrive perhaps from somewhere. I'm always thrilled to hear from those listeners who are sitting in countries far away looking for some connection to South Africa, to Johannesburg. You've got family here, you've got investments here, your childhood, your education all comes from here. You still have connections to our great city, and so you listen to 702 Breakfast, and we're always thrilled to hear from you. On our menu today, we look at that plane that was stranded for 12 hours. People escaping genocide. A chartered flight lands at OR Tambo International Airport, which you might assume is possibly our most secure point of entry, right? How does a foreign military operation land at our most secure point of entry, and we are unaware they're coming, and then we don't know what to do when they're here? How does that happen? How do premiers get investigated for fraudulent academic qualifications? What do you need to do if you want to run for political office next year? What does Afro-apocalypse mean to you? That's on our menu today.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
All right, let me not be mysterious. We'll start with the News 24 journalist and political author, Kanita Hunter, who says that Gaza flight debacle exposes South Africa's governance and security failures. It was a two-pronged strategy. Firstly, if you're Israel, you want to depopulate the Gaza Strip. You want no Palestinians there, and you'll send them anywhere but their homeland. So, all right, fine, charter flights through dubious characters and send them around the world. But it'd be particularly nice if you send them to Johannesburg, because you know, anything can happen there. People can land there and nobody knows what to do once they land. But also, South Africa has been in such serious support for the Palestinian cause. You'll embarrass them, because how do they send the Palestinians back to what they called a genocide? Do you see how it works? Either it's a genocide or it's not. And if it is a genocide, the South Africans, can't in good conscience send Palestinians back to what they have themselves called a genocide. So now the South Africans don't know what to do. And you know what that means? Who knows if this is the last plane that lands at OR Tambo International Airport? Now, if you have had everything familiar around you bombed and really just razed to ashes, and you've got a little bit of money, and I say a little bit in inverted commas, because some of them were charging over $2,000 for babies to get on these flights, right? You take everything you have and you go and take your chances somewhere far away. That's the perspective of the Palestinians on those planes, right? But what happens the next time another plane lands? What will South Africa do then? I mean, the Israelis could really bring as many, clearly, as can come. And we don't know what to do. We're flat-footed. It took the presidency intervening when the Border Management Authority said these people can't come in. Kuningi, it's a lot, right? And then, remember just last month, those protests at Fort Hare University? Was it about student protests over university management, SRC positions? Itaet. Remember in the 80s when there'd be protests on campuses about Itaet? right? Was it about that? Or was it about something far more sinister, torching buildings, perhaps to hide evidence? What evidence might we be talking about? Well, we've had 2 premiers of the Eastern Cape accused of academic fraud. The incumbent and one of his predecessors, who I think until last year was Minister of Public Service and Administration. Minister of Public Service and Administration until last year. Both caught up in that academic fraud scandal. But there's a whole lot more to lose for vested interests at Forte University, including, of course, irregular contracts. And that's why they killed the bodyguard of the Vice-Chancellor, thinking they were getting to the man himself. And at one point, I think there was a bounty on his head. And we just carry on in South Africa like something like that is normal. We'll speak to the Special Investigating Unit who are going to tell us about the proclamation they are using to look into Oscar Mabuyane, notwithstanding what he claims is a court victory this past weekend when the Bishop High Court said they couldn't, and they're saying, but hang on, we're using a different proclamation, so we're going to carry on. Never mind, Oscar. And the ANC in the Eastern Cape say, yeah. The SIU is like, no, sweetie, we carry on investigating. We'll find out what the state of affairs is there. And then the IEC, they're going to be conducting workshops to prepare new parties and independent candidates for next year's elections. We'll speak to their Deputy Chief Electoral Officer, and then we'll tell you about this fantastic production returning to Johannesburg, Afro-apocalypse, imaginative and allegorical African storytelling at the Market Theatre. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Right, I'm not alone, of course, as always. I am with a team of excellent colleagues. It's 13 after 6. KG is back to start the clock, so he makes a welcome return. But producers Rupfiwa, Siamtanda and Garabo also part of the scenes, behind the scenes, if you will, involved in the producing of the show. And we have, Kana, what's your name? Was it your birthday last week? You look so familiar. Garabo.
No, it's Amo.
Amo, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Bongs. Morning, 702 Landers.
I'm just teasing. Of course, I know who you are. And Muteo Haripe.
Morning, Bongs.
Here's a question for you. Who is the unsung hero in your life? The person who makes it all just hum beautifully. You are here because there are things you take for granted that this person has you covered. And it could be your whole life until now. It could be just this moment. It could be life at home. It could be your career at the moment. Who is the unsung hero? Who's the person that you look back and you think, gosh, were it not for this person, I might not have believed, I might not have thought I could? Amo?
I know this is going to sound very cliche.
My mom.
My children.
Oh, no, it does not sound cliched at all.
Because they give me so much purpose. And sometimes things would be very hard. But I promise you, that little hug, that smile, that, genuine comfort from my kids is actually what keeps me going almost every day.
I love that.
On any given day.
I love that.
Yeah.
I did not expect that at all, so it's not cliched at all. I love that. All right, Mateo, no pressure.
Why do you always want me to beat Amu's answers?
No,
when I can't
answer, I can't.
For me, right now, it would have to be our sisters in love. So my wife's sister and my sister always come in when we need to travel for work.
Our sisters in love.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, look, you're doing well, my friend. You're doing well.
So they always step
in love.
Whether we're traveling for work or we need a night out, they'll always be like, guys, we'll be there 1, 2 days, 3 days. Just help us, run the career on the
and
one
will they
side.
do it together or?
No, they've never done it together. They swap turns.
Okay, they swap. Our sisters in love. I love that answer. Who's the unsung hero in your life? The person who makes it all hum along beautifully, in ways that you probably don't even recognize. But when you sit down and you give it a serious think, there's a whole bunch you are able to do that you would not if this person was not in your life? We'll explain why we're asking that question coming up.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
All right, I do want to let you know where we are in terms of the G20 preparations. Yesterday at the G20 briefing, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, talking about this Palestinian plane that landed in South Africa. What we now understand, in fact, is that it wasn't even the first one to land on our shores. Have a listen to what the minister said yesterday.
Indeed, we are suspicious as the South African government about the circumstances surrounding the arrival of the plane and the passengers that were in the plane. And this matter is a subject of investigation. And the South African public will know at some stage, but it is indeed an issue of concern to us. It does look like it represents a broader agenda to remove Palestinians from Palestine into many different parts of the world, and it's a clearly orchestrated operation, because they are not only being sent to South Africa, there are other countries where such flights have been sent. So indeed, it's a matter that is being investigated, and we do not want any further flights to come our way.
Not given to hyperbole, our Minister of International Relations and Cooperation. That's the understatement of the year. That is the understatement of the year. Of course it is a coordinated effort. Of course they want to depopulate Gaza. And what do? You said it was a genocide, right? So what, when they land here, are you going to send these people back to the place that you said was a genocide? No, you have to accept them. And you're embarrassed, aren't you? That is the understatement of the year, say I.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
18 after 6, Mateo Kharipa, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know from you and the 702 lenders, Bongani, do you phone people via WhatsApp more?
Yeah.
Or do you use direct calls still?
WhatsApp,
using
WhatsApp call. Firstly, I avoid calling you.
I was about to ask
I don't
about
like
the etiquette
being called
as well
myself.
for WhatsApp calls.
Unless it's an emergency. If you and I are relatively close, I'll take a chance. If it's something really, really urgent or that I need to speak to you about, right that moment.
Yeah.
But even here as a team with, say, you and Amo, for example, generally, if I needed to call, I would send you a courtesy text saying, hey, let me know when you can chat. Can you chat? Can you take a quick call? I won't just randomly call you. And if you randomly call me, good luck to you.
You won't randomly pick up.
Good luck to you.
No, my thing is, with WhatsApp calls, I think somebody has to be really close to you to call you via WhatsApp in the first place.
Yes.
Otherwise, if I don't know you that well, I will call you via direct call, introduce myself.
No, don't call me at all.
No, not you. I'm talking about the rest of the world. The rest of the world.
Yes, but
that
I'm
can
talking
take
about
calls.
the rest of the world that could be you.
Amu, you make more WhatsApp calls?
I do, and I also answer anybody WhatsApp call because people don't usually phone these days. I don't know why. People have just stopped phoning.
We text. It's 2025.
If somebody phones me, I take it as an emergency.
Here's my anxiety. No, calls give me anxiety. They really do. Especially from my bosses. I tell them, don't call me. When I see that name flashing on my screen.
Then it should tell you it's important.
I think, I don't know where to start. Curious about what prompts that question.
702.
Weather.
20 after 6, this EWN weather is brought to you by 702. Is it not? You can expect a cloudy day in store in Gauteng. Isolated showers and thunder showers as we've seen the last few days. Temperatures peaking at only 20 in Johannesburg. For both Vereeniging and Pretoria, it's 22. Cape Town max is at 28 degrees. A fine day in Cape Town. 24 for Bombela, 26 for Bloemfontein, 24 for Durban as well. That's East London story too. Kimberley max is at 31, Gqeberha 23.
EWN Traffic.
Now, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 451442 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident reported in Kelvin. It's along the N3 North. It happened near the Baklu turnoff. It's causing delays coming out of Marlborough Drive while traveling towards the city of Tshwane. Please be on the lookout for roadworks right near Olifantsfontein Road. This is happening on the R21 North. If you can, try to use the N1 North through Midrand. While traveling on the Mike 1 North, we've got delays between Boysons and Car Street. Peak time delays there. I'll have more updates, but if you come across anything else on the roads, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car full of groceries and a lady who will be attempting to make her mother-in-law's famous recipe for the family dinner tonight.
5 mils of sugar.
The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's butterflies and a potential bonding moment. Every story is different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702. Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongani and the team. It's Kilebukhile from Guatemala. I think the action of the Palestinians landing here, it's the proverbial put your money where your mouth is. I think it was easy for South Africa to take the case to ICJ against Israel, but now when we must put our country and our resources where our money is, it's not so easy. You know, it's easy to throw money at a problem. It's easy to donate to charity and just give money. But when you must now go in maybe and donate your time on a Saturday and go and clean maybe at a children's home, then it's not so easy. Yeah, we were caught there.
Look, I get the analogy, but I think there are other considerations to be spoken about here. Say it wasn't the Palestinians. Remember, it is the stated goal of at least some of the Israeli officials to depopulate Gaza. They've been very clear about that, right? So how does a coordinated, almost military operation land at what is supposedly your most secure airport, and you don't know this flight is coming, and once it is here, you don't quite know what to do about it? And it's not only one flight that has landed. That's a far bigger worry for me than who the occupants of the plane were or where they were from. Right?
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
24 minutes after 6 o'clock as I drop my mic, not because I'm trying to be dramatic, I bumped it and it fell. If you're watching us, by the way, you can check us out on our streaming service via YouTube. We are live for you from our Sandton studios. I'm asking you, who's the person behind your success? The person behind your ability to do it all, the unsung hero who makes it all hum beautifully in the background. I'm about to explain in a moment. Things you need to know at this hour. All right, so the Madlanga Commission, right, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into alleged criminality in law enforcement goes into phase 2 today. You remember, of course, at the start of the commission, we had the former evidence leader, Advocate Terry Mutau, explaining that this thing would unfold in 3 phases. And very simply put, Mutau, phase 1 was Mkhwanazi saying, this is what I know, and all the people who could back up what he was claiming. That's phase 1, right? Phase 2 is all the people implicated in phase 1 coming to answer. What are you saying? Right? That's phase 2. And then, of course, phase 3, the accusers, if you will come back and respond to what the implicated people have said in response to their allegations. So that's essentially where we are now, the beginning of the explosive stuff, because the people who have fingers pointing at them must now and explain. And who better than Brown Mukhotsi, who's one of the biggest names I think we've come to know this year at the center of these allegations. He will be giving his testimony, and he pretty much said as much when he was speaking on Newsroom Africa yesterday, saying he is going to sing, he is going to talk. Today, in Citizen Reporter, they're running with an article called Africa's Youth Fed Up. The piece highlights how young people across the continent say they're tired of corruption, weak governance, and lack of real investment in job creation, despite their readiness to drive positive change. And they're calling on the G20 to move beyond talk and implement real solutions. Do you complain when you find something or someone or a service of some kind unsatisfying? Listen to this. A Long Island villager, or village, right? Is it Islandia? Has stopped accepting phone and email complaints after being flooded with hundreds of bogus online submissions that officials say were part of an orchestrated harassment campaign. We'll hear more of that story with Adam Gilchrist in about 2 hours' time. Chinese car brands are reshaping South Africa's second-hand market with affordable, feature-rich models like Haval, GWM selling faster and holding value better than traditional German or Japanese cars. And I've asked you this question before. Are you one of those who has shifted to the East rather than buying a European or even a Japanese car? I suppose Chinese is still East, Japanese is still East, but you know what I mean. Are you moving away from traditional models, trying out these new market entrants? And finally, Michael Kamen, the acclaimed American composer and orchestral arranger, died of a heart attack on this day in 2003 at the age of 55 in London. Now, Mateo, you're looking at me funnily like, who is Michael Kamen? Do you know Michael Kamen is behind some of Bryan Adams' smash hits, including Everything I Do It For You, To Really Love a Woman? He has co-written with groups like Pink Floyd, Queen, Eric Clapton, Sting. He worked with Kate Bush. He's written scores to music like Queen's It's a Kind of Magic, for example. He's written scores to films. So many hits. And yet he's somebody you didn't know about. You didn't know who Michael Kamen was. And I'll tell you, I didn't know about him until today either. And that's why we're asking, who's the unsung hero in your life? The person who has written those songs you get the credit for, but actually, he was the wind beneath your wings.
702. The newspapers.
Swisa Zulu, good morning.
Good morning, my unsung hero.
Oh, wow. How to shut me up. Good one. What's in the papers?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Some international publications are running a story about how Ukraine is trying to bolster its defenses against Russia's invasion. Yesterday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was in France with his French counterpart, Emmanuel Macron, to sign a deal for France to give them warplanes or fighter jets over the next 10 years under the signed deal. And the letter is of intent and is political rather than a purchase deal, which will come later. But now there are questions about how much of Macron's government will be able to provide these fighter jets, because within his own government there's instability of budgets and political instability. So yeah, we'll see if this will transpire in the next 10 years, if indeed those fighter jets will be sent to Ukraine.
It's like when the friend promises you a present that you don't know if they can afford. Basically, right? Sowetan front page, why Treasury cut BRT grant, lack of suitable engineers, poor management of fund, and an inability to reach 100,000 passenger daily trips. Ministry says cities were warned since 2016 to scale up operations, and they obviously haven't done that. The front page of the Business Day has the Japanese Prime Minister, and I wonder if Takaichi is now going to just heat things up a little more with Beijing. The Citizen is asking, how safe are our seas? South Africa's Navy chief warning budget cuts will cripple maritime security.
EWN Business.
Mateo wants to know, do we make phone calls via WhatsApp or direct using traditional airtime? I don't even know how much airtime I get on my phone every month. Is how rarely I know. Remember when they used to offer you free SMSs, and that was a thing?
And that was a big
I probably
thing.
have 2,000 free SMSs over the years. It's just, yeah. What prompts the question?
Bongani, MTN released its latest set of full-year financial results, and there are very interesting numbers in the telecoms firm says data revenue increased by 40%, driven by an expansion of active data subscribers and strong demand, which means they make more money now from data than airtime. Now, between July and September of 2025, MTN's total service revenue for the year to date hit 160 billion rand between July and September, up 26% from the same period in 2024. In MTN's home market, South Africa, service revenue improved by 1.4% in the third quarter. South African service revenue stood at 32.6 billion rand by September, up 2%. Now, voice calls have dropped drastically as more people use social media services like WhatsApp. Approximately 28 million South Africans use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the most popular messaging platform in the country, with about 94% of active social media users.
You know what I found fascinating? Americans use Facebook Messenger like we use WhatsApp.
Yeah,
I find that absolutely fascinating.
And I don't like Facebook Messenger.
No, it's just, anyway.
Yeah, MTN's airtime revenue in South Africa has dropped. The trend contrasts with the overall MTN group, where revenue and data revenue and fintech revenue have grown, driven by a more competitive market, especially in South Africa. But other key markets like Nigeria have seen service revenue also go up 67% to about 43 billion rand. Growth in Ghana was even better at 74% for MTN, hitting 30.2 billion. Of course, MTN during the period hitting that 300 million mark in terms of subscribers for the telecoms company.
All right, where's the rand?
17 Rand 21 cents against the US dollar. It's in some weakness this morning at 19 Rand 94 against the euro, and at 22 Rand 62 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,011 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,530. Brent crude at $63.75 a barrel. More business after 7.
All right, let's go straight to the news desk. Sfiso Zulu. This informal trader issue with the city of Johannesburg. Let's start there.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Officials will provide an update this morning on the 2-week process of verifying and registering informal traders in the Johannesburg CBD. Earlier this month, the High Court ordered the Metro to formalize and allocate trading stalls to more than 500 vendors by today. The ruling followed a case brought by the Socio-Economic Rights Institute of South Africa, which argued that the city infringed on the traders' rights to earn a living. This legal action came after the city's cleanup campaign, during which illegal formal traders operating outside designated trading zones were removed. Mayor Dada Morero says more people have now shown interest in becoming informal traders.
And the number, it's around 1,500 of people who wants to trade in the inner city. So we'll be looking at what are innovative ways that we can deal with to ensure that they can trade in a proper designated areas and start avoiding pavements.
A former SARS employee and registered tax practitioner has been sentenced to 6 years for fraud and forgery in the Bellville Regional Court in the Western Cape. Michael Benson was convicted for submitting false VAT returns and claiming undue refunds, as well as submitting false documents to justify the claims. Benson, who worked for SARS as an auditor between 1997 and 2000, was also convicted of failing to keep proper records. And during this period, he submitted returns and fraudulently claimed an amount of 1.7 million rand, of which 1.5 was paid to his bank accounts. But SARS blocked the final claim after discovering the fraudulent claims. NPA spokesperson Eric Ntabazalila says they welcome the conviction and sentencing.
The sentence sends a decisive message that the NPA will not tolerate fraud, abuse of public trust, or the manipulation of the tax system for personal gain. Those entrusted to uphold the integrity of South Africa's revenue services have a highest duty to act lawfully and ethically. When they betray that trust, the NPA will act firmly and without hesitation to ensure accountability.
State prosecutor Greg Vormerans has used cell phone evidence to show that alleged underworld gang boss Nafees Modak was behind an attempt to kill attorney William Booth. Modak and 14 others face 122 charges for various crimes related to operating a criminal enterprise. The charges include the attempted murder of Booth at his home 5 years ago. The high-profile trial is ongoing in the Western Cape High Court. Carlo Peterson has been following proceedings.
State prosecutor Greg Vormerans used cell phone evidence to show the court co-accused Zane Killian was pinging attorney William Booth and a former state witness who can only be identified as Mr. C. Modak admits he was hired by businessman Shanil Maharaj to perform a debt collection from Mr. C in March 2020, but denies asking Killian to ping him. During the same period, Booth was Mr. C's lawyer. Vormerans used screenshots of WhatsApp messages between Maharaj and a corrupt cop, allegedly referring to Modak as NAF while planning an alleged raid on Mr. C's home.
They want you, NAF, to have Vali pinged.
Modak will be back in the dock today. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And Colombia says military strikes targeting rebel fighters have claimed the lives of 15 children since August. The children were abducted by the same armed groups in the soldiers' crosshairs. President Gustavo Petro yesterday reported the deaths, but the ages of the victims have not been provided. Petro says the children were all victims of forced recruitment by criminals who led them into hostilities. Prosecutors say more than 1,100 children were abducted by armed groups between 2019 and 2023. A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers. The temperatures are at lows of 11 and 12 degrees, peaking at highs between 20 and 22.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between Marlborough Drive and the Baklu interchange. An accident has been reported there. There's also queuing traffic along the Mark North between Boyson's Road and Carr Street.
The top story this hour, the city of Johannesburg will provide an update this morning on the 2-week process of verifying and registering informal traders.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, my name is Mbalenhle Felicity Nkubane, and I'm from Johannesburg. I'm staying in Malaysia currently. 702 helped me through my depression, my divorce, COVID. So I'm very, very happy that 702 helped me through all of those years. And I'm still going to continue listening to you guys from the morning to the evening. And yeah, thank you, 702.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Take your leadership to the next level. The Wits Business School, in partnership with France's top-ranked Kedge Business School, is launching the Wits Kedge MBA in Global Executive Leadership, a powerful new program designed for senior leaders ready to think globally and to lead with impact. Join the online information session on 20 November at 5:30 p.m. to discover how this world-class MBA can transform your career. Register now at wps.ac.za. That's wps.ac.za. The Wits Kedge MBA in Global Executive Leadership, shaping global leaders for a changing world.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Progress builds. It moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa. With a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities, $15 million pledged to the Global Fund to support community-based health services, 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network. And as a sponsor of B20 and G20, we're bringing that same spirit of partnership to a global stage, proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Join the conversation on social media. Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
702. WhatsApp Bongani on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, 702 family. There's nothing wrong with WhatsApp call. My husband hates it. But at work, we use WhatsApp calls. My boss will use a WhatsApp call to call me. I use WhatsApp call to call the guys that I'm working with. So, it's the way to go. Have a nice day.
Good morning, 702 team. Yo. Ndate Bongani. Who still makes calls at 2025? 2025, this person wants to WhatsApp call you or just call you for everything that they want to say to you, even things that they could have, just send you a text. They want to call you. And, when you ask them, can't you just text me? They'll say, no, I want to talk to you. Yo. Like me, I've got a very bully sister who will call you randomly. She will just call you and, and send you a text and say to you, please call me back. When you call them back, whatever they are telling you, it's something that they could have just, send you a simple text. Oh, woman. Now calls are giving me anxiety and I hate them. I hate calls. James from Soshanguve.
James from Soshanguve, you are my twin. You really are. In 2025, and the funny thing, but here's what I find really fascinating. The funny thing is the kids, what do you call them? The teenagers. Are they Gen Z? Is that, or they're younger? Whatever generation they are. The teenagers all want to be on calls. And I think it stems from the lockdown, right? They got used to calling each other and talking to each other. And so now my kids battle with the idea of texting me. And so when they phone me and it's not an emergency, I get really, really irate because I have to pick up because it's my kids. Yeah, guys, who tough.
EWN Sport.
Mateo wants to know, Cindy Paluta, very good morning.
Good morning.
Do you prefer WhatsApp calls or direct calls?
So,
and how close must I be to you to just randomly call you via WhatsApp?
Firstly, if you call, you have to be close. If you call me on WhatsApp, I've actually silenced it that unknown numbers don't ring. So there's a setting on WhatsApp where I will show you. There's a setting on WhatsApp that only known that if you've got that person saved. So then 9 times out of 10, you'll miss that call and then they'll message you or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I only pick up calls if I really genuinely have the time to talk to you right now, like then I will answer your call. But I think it's how strange that we have now evolved to live in an age where we go, I don't know what they're calling about, so I'm not going to take the call. Because in the 80s, you answered the landline and whoever was on that other side, and then everybody in our house knew on a Sunday night my gran would phone, so nobody would run for the phone. We'd all be like, absolutely not. It's for my mother. We just know, right? But what's really bugging me about the WhatsApp now is the retailers that are using WhatsApp instead of SMS to now and message you, right? Because for me, WhatsApp is still a personal thing. It is still I choose if I want to message you or not. Nothing irritates me more. So all the retailers, I prefer an SMS from you. I will still read your SMS or an app alert or whatever, but I don't want you to WhatsApp me. WhatsApping is for friends and family. And yesterday I got a business, like somebody I don't know messaged me to ask something. And I was just like, why are you WhatsApping me? Email me.
I do know the airlines, when they send you your boarding pass via WhatsApp, that's really convenient.
It is, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But they mustn't now tell me about their Christmas specials, right? Because then my phone pings and I think it's a friend and it's not, and it's you, and then actually I archive your... do you archive a lot of stuff?
Yeah.
I have a lot of groups on archive.
There's people who are still on ticks being archived because I just can't.
Yeah.
Talking about being busy...
Yes, the
Next
Springboks.
year, the Springboks have quite a lot to do.
They have a lot because World Rugby has now announced they'll be part of a 12-team biennial tournament called the Nations Championship. This new tournament, played every 2 years, has 6 Northern and 6 Southern Hemisphere teams battling over 6 rounds of matches, with the final then being one Northern Hemisphere team against a Southern Hemisphere team at the end of November next year. So in July, the Boks will play England, Scotland and Wales, and then in November, they'll play Italy, France and Ireland. tournament. And in between this, don't forget, we've got the greatest rivalry. That'll be where the Boks host the All Blacks in August and September instead of the Rugby Championship. But for now, they've still got to get through their end-of-year tour. They're playing Ireland this weekend. Eben Etzebeth is excited.
Yeah, I think obviously a great team. I think they've been on top of the world rankings, if I say on top, in the top 3 for the last couple of years. So quality side, and yeah, looking forward to this game. Also, when we got the calendar at the start of the year, was definitely one of the fixtures that stood out. So yeah, we're excited for this weekend. It's going to be a good clash.
Ireland is boosted in the front line by the return to fitness of Gary Ringrose and Josh van der Flier, but they could be without Stuart McCloskey, who injured his groin against Australia. In FIFA World Cup qualifiers last night, Germany thrashed Slovakia 6-0 to book their spot along with Netherlands, who beat Lithuania 4-0. Tonight, Spain will win Group E if they don't lose to Turkey by 7. Switzerland will advance as Group B winners as long as they don't lose away to Kosovo by 6. A win for Scotland over Denmark will seal them automatic qualification. A draw is enough for Denmark as well. Austria also need a draw or more against Bosnia-Herzegovina. And in cricket, New Zealand batter Daryl Mitchell has been ruled out the remainder of the ODI series against the West Indies with a groin injury. New Zealand leading that series 1-0. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo-American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa with a 1 billion rand investment into education in our host communities, $15 million pledged to the Global Fund to support community-based health services, 1.6 billion rand in deals facilitated through our Impact Finance Network. And as a sponsor of B20 and G20, we're bringing that same spirit of partnership to a global stage, proving that when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. South Africa has a partner. Join the conversation on social media. Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and really all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch it this Wednesday at 10 to 9 featuring the iStore. Their CEO Chris Dodd is going to be joining us, and we do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
The stage is set as business leaders from the G20 countries gather in South Africa for the B20 Summit from 18th to 20th November for the first time in history on African soil. The Clement Manyathela Show will be there, live with Nedbank, to discover how inclusive growth and prosperity can be achieved through global cooperation. So, be a part of history and tune in every day to the Clement Manyathela Show, live from the B20 Summit in Sandton. Brought to you by Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit on 702. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz on 702.
My name is Kiara Wedzo. I am 13 years old. I'm homeschooled via Impact. When I grow up, I want to be a civil engineer. I'm excited to play the Whiz Quiz with you, Uncle Bongani.
We're excited to play with you too. We're itching. It's getting towards the end of the year. We're itching to give away 10,000 Rand.
702. Coming up at 7:15, the big interview. EWN Traffic.
All right, let's catch up with the roads. 11 to 7. Amma, what are you seeing?
Bongani, the delays on the N3 North, in fact, bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is between Waterfontein Road and the Baklu interchange. An earlier accident is causing these delays. While travelling on the N1 North, leaving Eldorado Park, do expect delays between the N12 and the Diepkloof interchange. And if you are travelling on the N1 South towards Midrand, do expect delays from the Brakfontein interchange to Olifantsfontein Road, and that's due to peak time delays there. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Summer's here, and with Fly Safair now flying between Lanseria, East London and PE from just 770 Rand, you can make any of these 3 holiday hotspots your go-to this festive season. From sun-soaked beaches to buzzing city breaks, Fly Safair has you all set for the holidays, wherever the adventure takes you. So pack your sunnies, pick your playground, and fly into summer. Book now at flysafair.co.za. Fly Safair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Hey, sorry for the voice note, but listen, I was there. I saw the receipt. Like, literally. That thing was long. It was giving scroll vibes and everything. Chomi, with this new Discount Better Rewards card, you get 10% off instantly. But like instantly, on over 140 brands. So look, I don't want to be like dramatic or anything, but your Discount till slip never looked better. Okay, bye.
Coming up the next hour, 3,000 Rand in cash up for grabs. What's the question? Brought to you by Outsurance. Send us an answer based on something you heard on the show. For that, you'll win 1,000 Rand. 072 702 1702. Then later, someone will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
Who is the whizziest of them all? It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? 10,000 Rand up for grabs. You have to be age 10 to 13 to play. Today we're playing with Arabe, who is 13 years old, wants to be an engineer later in life. So I bet you're going to be good at the maths questions, are you not?
Yes.
Yes is the confident answer. KG, start the clock. What is the fourth month in the year?
April.
Correct. What is 20 divided by 5?
4.
Correct. Who is not a rugby player? Siya Kolisi, Damian Dialande, or Themba Bavuma?
Themba Bavuma.
Correct. True or false? The British Prime Minister lives in Buckingham Palace.
True.
It's false. Which three-letter word beginning with D is the opposite for night?
Pass.
Day. To which country does the name Mzansi refer?
Town.
South Africa. On what side of the road must people drive in the United States of America?
Left.
Correct. True or false? 6 provinces are neighbors of the Western Cape.
True.
It's false. Complete the name of the soccer team. Orlando what?
Pirates.
Orlando Pirates. And that's all we have time for you for today, I'm afraid. Not the best of rounds, not the worst either. You're kind of halfway there. 500 Rand is what you walk away with this morning. Well done, and yeah, well played.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Current events, developing stories,
tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
All right, we had been scheduled to speak to the author and political journalist Kanita Hunter, who's written a piece about that plane that landed from Gaza just last week. And really at the last minute, she has declined our interview. She says she's been called into studio. I'm not quite sure what that means, but she's no longer going to be talking to us. So that's a real disappointment. But what we do know is that the flight was chartered by a dual Israeli-Estonian national, some guy called Toma Janar Lind. He's the owner of an organization called Al-Majid Europe. The plan, of course, as you've heard from many Israeli leaders, is to depopulate Gaza. I mean, they've made it really a hell on earth. People there cannot live there. And the idea then is to send whatever residents you can anywhere but Gaza itself. And why not South Africa, given its support for the Palestinian cause? But also, far more worryingly for me, it's what it says about our security, that our most secure airport, one might assume, it's certainly our largest, right, can have a quasi-military operation being effected there without us having no plan around how to deal with it. That had been the hope for us to have that conversation, but perhaps let's give you a little word or two and play some more of your voice notes.
Bongani, the entire debacle really, it's extremely worrying. The whole plane full of passengers leaves Israel, come to South Africa via East Africa, Nairobi, lands at Ortia, that is our Tambo International, not at some obscure airport somewhere, I don't know, Lipalale landing strip or something like that, over Tambo International, and no one amongst the many authorities that we have, DERCO, Transport, CAA, everybody, no one knew what was actually happening. Extremely worrying. Thanks, Bongani.
That's an excellent, excellent point. I mean, it would have been worrying even if it had been some small airport, right? In the middle of nowhere. That itself would have been worrying. And you wonder then if any aircraft has indeed landed at those small, lesser-known airports. But the fact that this is our Heathrow, this OR Tambo International Airport is South Africa's answer to Heathrow, to Charles de Gaulle. This is the flagship of all our international airports. You would think, particularly in a week or so before we host the G20, all eyes would be on Ortia. And were they?
Hello, good morning, Bongs. I don't know, can someone explain to me, isn't that all these flights, when they're flying to any destination, they must have a flight plan first. So if these guys had a flight plan, someone is supposed to know exactly what was actually in that flight, or the type of people or type of passengers in that flight heading to South Africa, and who actually approved it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, lots of questions still to be asked about this. I played you a little earlier a briefing note from the International Relations and Cooperation Minister, Ronald Lamola, who says there's still an investigation underway as far as this is concerned. The other story, of course, that we told you about is the beginning of phase 2 of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Remember, of course, this is going to be heard in 3 phases. First, the people making the allegations and those that can corroborate them. Then those who are implicated answering those allegations, and that's where phase 2 begins. So you can expect it to be quite fiery. The political fixer, I think that's perhaps the better description for Brown Mokgotsi. Not so much that he's a businessman. And he was on Newsroom Africa just last night, speaking to their senior anchor there, Xolim Gambi, saying that he is going to reveal a great deal at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry today.
I'm going to the commission. A lot is coming. More than that, Kukala Matota was on born at Transcendifikile Paya. Let me tell you, I will explain it like bit by bit. Why was it important for me to inform CAT? In one of the radio stations, I said, if CAT was able to fund the ANC January 8th with 100,000, whatever, don't you think he has told me who else has he given money to? Who else? Because now they're making Brown Mokgotsi and they're talking about this 138,000 for the January 8th. Yeah. A lot is coming.
A lot is going to come. It's going to be the turn of the men to speak. You remember, of course, that one of the allegations is that Brown Mokgotsi solicited funds from, alleged cartel member Vusumuzi Cat Matlala. So that's the context of that comment there that he is talking about. But speaking to Newsroom Africa yesterday, Brown Mokgotsi saying he is going to spill the beans and is going to take us bit by bit through what is alleged that he is involved in. And that's one of the stories to watch out for today.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
So apologies once more. We're not able to speak to the author and political journalist Kanita Hunter. She quite literally dropped us at the last minute and did not take the interview, having agreed to it. So here we are. Our big interview focuses on Fort Hare University. At the weekend, the Bisho High Court said the Special Investigating Unit cannot pursue that matter of the Eastern Cape Premier's academic qualifications. It is, of course, a ruling based on the Premier Oscar Mabuyane's opposition to that initial proclamation that allowed the SIU to do so. A second one was issued, and so they're carrying on their investigation on the basis of that. not the first. The ANC claims it's a victory, but it might well turn out to be a hollow one. So where are we on these investigations and all of the matters related to Fort Hare University? That conversation coming up next.
This is EWN.
Brown Mokgotsi finally gets his chance before the Madlanga Commission, and Trump gives himself a pat on the back after the UN Security Council endorsed his Gaza peace plan. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi will appear before the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning as the inquiry shifts into Phase 2 of hearings. Phase 2 will give those implicated in Phase 1 the opportunity to respond to allegations that have been leveled against them. 2 weeks ago, Mokgotsi survived an alleged assassination attempt after a car he was travelling in was shot at several times near Vosloorus on the East Rand. He has been mentioned at the Commission as someone who allegedly meddled in police affairs. Oren Singh reports.
On the 5th of March, during a parliamentary portfolio committee sitting, the name of Brown Mokgotsi was first made public by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkonazi. Mkonazi accused Mokgotsi of meddling in police affairs and being a close associate to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Evidence previously presented before the Madlanga Commission showed alleged WhatsApp exchanges between Mokgotsi and criminally accused tender tycoon Vusi Kat Matlala. The messages show that Mokgotsi received more than 100,000 rand from Matlala in gratification payments with the promises to arrange a meeting for Matlala and Mchunu. Mokgotsi also facilitated the payments for flights and accommodation from Matlala for several ANC delegates to attend the January 8th celebrations in Cape Town. Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya confirmed that he knows and met Mokgotsi on at least 2 occasions. Mokgotsi is also understood to have close links to Crime Intelligence Head of National Security and Counterintelligence, Feroz Khan. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
NPA head advocate Chamila Batoyi is said to back her allegations against Johannesburg prosecution's boss Andrew Chauke at the inquiry into his fitness to hold office. The hearings were established by President Cyril Ramaphosa after he suspended Chauke for serious allegations. Chauke is accused of quashing the prosecution of politically connected individuals and making questionable decisions. Khomoso Modise reports.
The inquiry of advocate Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office as Director of Public Prosecutions in Johannesburg was prompted by MPA head Chamila Batoyi's complaint in 2023. Batoyi will be the first witness to testify during this morning's sitting, where she's expected to be critical of Chauke's prosecutorial decisions. Yesterday, the Commission heard that Batoyi has requested to testify without any pauses or interruptions in the testimony, to which the chair, retired Justice Besan Kabinde, responded.
It is not for Advocate Batoyi to decide how we are going to proceed in this inquiry. When she's called to testify, she will come and testify, and should come to testify.
Once she's read her statement, Batoyi will be cross-examined by Chauke's lawyers, led by advocate Tembeka Ngugaitobi. Khomzo Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
South Africa is positive that its G20 presidency will adopt a leaders' declaration when the one-year term ends this week. The G20's Leaders Summit is set to be hosted in Joburg at the weekend, where heads of state will hopefully sign off on a document on how to address economic growth, trade reforms, ballooning debts, the Africa agenda, food and energy security, and climate change. The country's optimism about reaching consensus on policy priorities to take forward comes amid the U.S.'s decision to boycott the gathering. U.S. President Donald Trump has also allegedly moved to oppose a G20 Johannesburg's Leaders Declaration in his deliberate absence. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says the declaration rests on the ongoing final round of negotiations and not on Trump's comments.
The fact that the USA is not here does not preclude the declaration. If the countries that are participating now agree on a declaration, they can declare this is a declaration of the countries that participated.
Amid speculation that Trump will neglect the Africa agenda flagshipped by South Africa, International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says not all hope is lost.
With all the issues that we have put on the table, they will now be part of the conversations of the G20 and of all other multilateral forums, because some of them have already been taken over by other platforms like the UN.
In New York, Donald Trump has hailed the UN Security Council's votes in favor of his Gaza peace plan, claiming it would lead to further peace all over the world. The plan includes the deployment of an international force and a path to a future Palestinian state. Under this resolution, the force will work with Israel and Egypt, along with a newly trained and vetted police force, to help secure border areas and ensure the process of permanently demilitarizing non-state armed groups, including Hamas. Until now, the police in Palestine have operated under the authority of Hamas. The resolution was backed by 13 countries, including France and Somalia, with none voting against the proposal. Russia and China decided to abstain. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz.
President, and thank you to the council members for this historic and constructive resolution. Thank you for joining us in charting a new course in the Middle East for Israelis and Palestinians and all the people of the region alike.
Gold is trading at $4,009.41 an ounce. The rand is at 17.20 to the dollar, 22.63 to the pound, 19.95 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.76 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got a stop and go at the N3 North. This is between the Airlines interchange and the Baklu interchange. This is due to multiple reasons, like an accident near the Baklu turn off, as well as peak time pressure coming out of the Airlines turn off. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, Germany and the Netherlands with crushing wins have qualified for the FIFA World Cup. The Springboks inbound and end-of-year tours next year will now form part of the new Nations Championship and North vs South battle. And India captain Shubnim Gill are out for the second test, the Proteas starting Saturday.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers and thunder showers expected. Johannesburg is at a low of 12 degrees, peaking at 20. Pretoria 14 and 22. Vereeniging 11 and 22 as well. The top story in EWN this hour: controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mokgotsi will appear before the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria this morning as the inquiry shifts into phase 2 of hearings.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 7 o'clock, you're listening to 702 Breakfast. Lots on the go. Today, of course, Brown Mokgotsi, the focus of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry, heavily implicated by some of the witnesses who've gone before. It'll be his chance to explain. Will he show up? I suppose is also a valid question. He was on Newsroom Africa yesterday saying, of course he will. He will spill the beans. We were also talking about the difference in 2025 between phone calls and texts. Obakeng on X makes a really excellent point. He says the problem with texts is that they've no tone. Hence, in relationships, one can struggle. So he says he's a caller and he allocates 4,500 minutes on his contract to make those phone calls because he will call you. We're also looking, of course, at developing stories around next year's local general elections. Yesterday, the ANC's Electoral Commission chair, former President Kgalema Motlanthe, setting firm guidelines for prospective councillor candidates for the ANC. They're doing the most extraordinary thing. They're not even going to vet potential candidates, would-be candidates. They want to make sure these people are qualified. It's absolutely extraordinary, KG. From now on, ANC councillors will at least have a matric.
Criminal records and qualifications actually in their performance review. All candidates must agree to vetting of criminal records and qualifications and make financial and other interest declarations before final nomination. Candidates must agree to lifestyle audit or other investigation to be conducted by reputable accounting and law firms if ordered by the Provincial List Committee or the Electoral Committee. Candidates must agree to accept organizational decisions and abide by the ANC and electoral codes of conduct. Candidates must agree to sign the deployment contracts which bind them to be loyal to the decisions of the ANC, including the redeployment and recall as the circumstances, such as performance or lack thereof, may dictate from time to time.
That is the ANC's Electoral Commission Chair, Kgalema Motlanthe, speaking yesterday.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The other story we're keeping an eye on, and we have done for a number of weeks now, takes us to Sudan and that city of Al-Fashir. I want you to listen to a Sky News interview where the United Nations Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator Tom Fletcher spoke to Yalda Hakim about what is unfolding in Sudan, really describing it as beyond a crime scene, but rather the epicenter of suffering in the world at the moment. You remember, of course, we've played you reports that suggest that the bloodstains in the sand are so intense, they are visible from space. It really is quite an extraordinary situation. Paramilitary forces stand accused of atrocities, including mass executions and sexual violence, as political warfare. I do want to warn sensitive listeners, this is not going to be easy hearing.
Horrifying is the right word. You just get this sense of rampant brutality and impunity. I spoke to so many people who told me stories of mass executions, mass rape, sexual violence being weaponized as part of the conflict. One woman carrying her dead neighbor's malnourished child, and then she herself was attacked on the road as she fled towards Tawila, where I was for a couple of days earlier this week. It's utterly grim right now. It's the epicenter of suffering in the world.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where there have been reports that the blood spilt there can be seen from space.
That's right, and I've seen that satellite footage from the Yale lab. I mean, these are horrifying images of the blood on the sand. And, our great concern is we've got to make sure there are teams going in to investigate these atrocities.
Investigating these atrocities, how many more must die before this crisis is dealt with by the international community?
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, what you need to know at this hour, Willie Okamp and Alexandra Abrams sworn in yesterday as part of President Cyril Ramaphosa's executive. Okamp will become Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, and Abrams is the Deputy Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition. The UN Security Council approving that U.S. resolution backing Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan, which now includes a new board of peace to act as a transitional authority. Listen to this, the SABC being sued for 5 million rand over a reality TV show called Man to Man. So they're being sued by somebody who's accusing them of using his name. One Macbeth Sidakeng says the corporation used his name and implied that he was officially affiliated with the show, and indeed was not. And the plaintiff argues that the misrepresentation has damaged their reputation and potential future earnings.
EWN Traffic.
14 minutes after 7 o'clock, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. And you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 rand. There are delays on the N3 North. Amo?
Yes, Bongani. In fact, bumper to bumper queuing traffic there. This is between the Elands interchange and the Baklu interchange. It is due to an accident reported right after Marlborough Drive, and there's also queuing traffic along this route due to peak time delays at this time of the morning. If you are traveling in Sharon D, queuing traffic along Malibongwe Drive approaching the N1 exit. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 North through the Rand Park Ridge area all the way towards Fourways. So please be on the lookout there and do slow down and be patient on the route. If you are traveling on the R21 North heading towards the city of Tshwane, bumper to bumper delays there. That's due to the road works that are taking place right near Olifantsfontein Road. As a result, try to use the N1 North through Midrand heading towards Centurion. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen can't help you find your child's school shoes, but they can help ease traffic congestion so you can get to the school gate before it closes. With the Outsurance pointsmen on the roads for the past 20 years, we can all get where we need to safely and quickly. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702. Up next.
The big interview.
For 3 consecutive years, Nedbank has been recognized as the best investment bank in South Africa at the Global Banking and Finance Review Awards. Whether helping clients navigate cross-border risks or building financing frameworks that support market reform, Nedbank is a partner in more than just capital. We're part of the architecture supporting Africa's renewable energy future. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
What do partners of the Gates Foundation do when facing the world's toughest challenges? They keep going. From discovering a plastic drape that helps detect excessive postpartum bleeding faster, to developing better bed nets to kill malaria-carrying mosquitoes, to researching an RSV vaccine that could save hundreds of thousands of children. For every problem, there are people who prove that progress is possible. The Gates Foundation, partners of human potential. Learn more at gatesfoundation.org/keep going.
In the world of junior sports, bullying is sidelining more young athletes than broken bones could ever do. So this Friday on 702 Drive with John Perlman, we'll be joined by Supersport personality and coach Jonathan Mokoena to unpack how bullying chips away at confidence, mental health and performance, and why so many talented kids are walking off the field for good. If sport is meant to build character, then we've got to face what's breaking it. Don't miss this important conversation made possible by the Dis-Chem Foundation on Friday on 702 Drive. The Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
702.
The big interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
17 after 7. 17 after 7. Don't have a heart attack. Now, how much would you pay for a degree, say a master's or even a PhD? Well, if you are a premier in the Eastern Cape, perhaps all it takes might be just your proximity to power. Oscar Mabuyane and one of his predecessors, Noxolo Kivit, formerly the Minister of Public Service and Administration, have both been accused of academic fraud from Fort Hare University. Their cases have been reported to the Special Investigating Unit. It's part of a wide-ranging look at the ills that bedevil that institution. You remember, of course, just last month, riots and arson rocked that historic campus. But was the torching of buildings only about student protests, or might it have been about burning the evidence? We're joined now by Kaiser Hanyago, who is, of course, the Special Investigating Unit spokesperson. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for your time. There we go. Can you hear us?
Good morning. Good morning. I can hear you. Good morning, Mr. Bingwa, and it's nice to talk to you.
Let's start with the latest. The ANC says this weekend's Bisho High Court ruling is a vindication for the Eastern Cape Premier Oscar Mabuyane. Why will this not stop the investigation?
This will not stop our investigation because it is, according to us, moot, in the sense that this is as a result of the first proclamation that was put before the court by the Premier, when we were trying to get information from him, and he then took us to court to do an interdict, and it went there in 2 parts. The first part was the interdict, which was granted at that time, and then the second part was had later, and then this is the result of that part B. But since that time, we have moved on, because after the interdict, we then went and changed the proclamation as it was suggested by the judge in the interdict, to say there's nothing that stops the SIU from adding the words, the investigation on masters and other things. And that's exactly what we did, and we got the proclamation.
All right, just to be clear for our listeners, at question here was the Premier's academic qualifications. He objected to the first proclamation that you used to investigate this matter because he said that proclamation didn't necessarily cover postgraduate qualifications. And you had it changed, you carried on, he still went to court. He's kind of won on that technicality, but as you say, it no longer matters because you changed or you amended the proclamation, and therefore you were allowed to investigate the matter of his master's degree. Am I correct?
No, definitely. The first proclamation only talked about investigation of the honors. But we felt we needed to expand to any other thing that is related to it. But he won that battle at that point. But then we have made that change, as you indicated. Now we are able, in the new proclamation of 2024, to investigate masters and doctorates.
All right. How far is the investigation?
Well, the investigation is at an advanced stage. We might be going to the tribunal anytime soon. But once we're done with the tribunal, we'll be able to come to the public and indicate what are the findings.
We've seen, of course, as part of this investigation, the arrest of forensic investigators looking into this matter. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, that matter is before the courts. Obviously, the Hawks have now taken over that part because it had a lot to do with the murder and all of the things that are outside of our mandate. But we are supporting that kind of investigation from the Hawks.
Was it an intimidation tactic?
It looks like that because the person that was the head of security who was arrested, among others, was one of the people that was our contact point when we were at that place. Therefore, obviously, it was an alarming thing for us and also a security issue for us.
All right, just explain it again to people who may not be familiar with the details. Who was arrested? What was their interaction with you? And why would you suspect it could possibly be intimidation?
Yeah, obviously, without wanting to get into details, because people's names and all of those things. But the person that was arrested, together with the hitman, was the former head of security at Fort Hare. And this was a person who was our contact point when we were doing investigations there. We would go to this person and he would direct us here and there, only to find that he was now implicated in all of these things. And we really felt bad about it, but also felt that our investigator security was at stake.
Goodness me. The Premier is not the only senior politician accused of academic fraud from Fort Hare University. One of his predecessors, a former minister, Noxolo Kivit, was also under investigation. Where are we on that matter?
Yeah, I always like to put it this way, Bongani, that what we are investigating is the degrees at Fort Hare. It is very unfortunate that then it became about people, about individuals at a point, purely because the Premier is the one who took us to court. But we investigate the qualifications, and everybody who was in those qualifications at that particular time, we look at all of them, and those that we find to have been done in the wrong way, and we will then put out. And I can safely tell you, it will be more than 20 people. It will not be even 2 people.
Sure, but just to be specific now, because you've told me that the investigation into the current Premier is at an advanced stage. Where are we on the former Premier, amongst others?
No, all of them, like I say, all of this are in the advanced stage. Like I'm saying to you, I'm just giving a glimpse to say it's not only 2 people, it's more than 20 people.
So we saw the unrest last month. We saw the protests, shall we call them that? We saw arson, damage to an historic campus. Was any evidence that might be relevant for your investigations, or indeed any others, lost in that arson?
No, there is nothing, because all the information that we needed from the campus we had already gotten a while back. And what we are now doing is the investigation in terms of verifying and giving people an opportunity to respond and all of that. Therefore, we are not worried about that. And we are also saying that from where we are sitting, this will not affect our investigation in any way.
But it is a worry that a public university can get attacked in that manner, and we all sort of move on as if it's a normal occurrence.
No, it's a worrying factor. It's really worrying, and I think the police are on top of it to make sure that they get to the culprits, because we do not want a situation where our investigation can be used as a reason to do things like that.
Well, as you say, this isn't just about individuals. There's a lot to investigate at Fort Hare University, including, of course, those irregular contracts or alleged irregular contracts, there are certainly vested interests who stand to lose.
No, definitely. There are many other, because I think everybody's just focusing on the qualifications. There are other things that we're investigating, like the gardening contracts, the air conditioning contracts, and so on. Therefore, maybe obviously some of the people have got vested interest and they do not want to lose. But as I say, all the documents are already with us and there's nothing to worry. We will get to the bottom of it.
Can you put a sum to the amount of money that is alleged to have been misappropriated or at least under investigation?
We cannot at this stage, because the new proclamation only came in towards the end of 2024. Therefore, we still in the middle of those new parts that were added at that time. Therefore, it's going to be very difficult to do that.
So what can the SIU do? You've mentioned, of course, the tribunal at the start of this investigation, the interview. When your investigations are complete, what can you do?
Yeah, we can go to the tribunal and as far as qualifications and make sure that they are all cancelled, all of those, so that they do not those people do not have those qualifications. If the tribunal agrees with us with the evidence that we will give to them, but also with other contracts that are there, we will also set them aside and recover the money that we're supposed to recover from the individuals that benefited from it.
Right, we'll leave it there. Kaiser Khanyaho is the Special Investigating Unit spokesperson there, just outlining the investigations that are related to Fort Hare University. And just to note, of course, I mentioned a little earlier on that Noxolo Kivit was the former Minister of Public Service and Administration. She's no longer in that role, and Muteo Haripa, you would be so kind. My piece of paper has just fallen to the floor. If you could assist me, pick it up, because that's where the latest title is written. And it just fell as I was about to read it. She is now the chairperson of the National Home Builders Registration Council. At the center of this qualifications saga are two individuals, former premiers, or one current and one former. But as you heard there, at least 18 others who will now have their qualifications cancelled if they can't explain how they got them.
EWN Business.
The joys of live radio, Mutaharipe, streaming it on YouTube. My piece of paper just fell.
I needed that joke.
And
it's
I'm
fine.
pointing. I'm doing this. Thank you. Thank you, my good sir. All right, let's talk about chicken producer Astral, proving chicken is still South Africa's favorite protein.
Yeah, Astral Foods has reported better revenue growth for the financial year ending in September. Group revenue rose to 10.4% at 22.6 billion rand. The earnings were up from 20.5 billion in 2024. Now, Astral is keeping chicken the main thing. Its poultry division remained its revenue driver, adding 82.5% of total external revenue, while the feed division accounted for 17.5%. The chicken producer says the earnings jump was mainly due to higher broiler slaughter volumes and increased sales during the second half of the year. Astral says selling prices recovered after a period of price deflation in the first half of the year. The chicken producer makes Goldie, Festive and Country Fair chicken brands.
Pre-loved cars are apparently as good as new.
Yeah, We Buy Cars posted a 13% increase in group revenue, reaching 26.4 billion rand for the year ending in September. The company's vehicle buying and selling volumes also rose, with 180,576 units bought, up 7.7%, and selling about 8.4% up at 179,000 vehicles sold. Sales momentum remained strong, highlighted by an all-time high, a monthly record of 16,294 units sold in November of 2024.
Your indicators?
17 Rand 20 is the Rand against the dollar at this hour, still quite weak this morning. 19 Rand 94 against the euro and 22 Rand 62 cents against the British pound. Price of gold down by close to 1% now at $4,009 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,521. Brent crude at $63.72 a barrel. Bring you more business after 8.
7:30, your time check. This Eyewitness News brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 451442 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Sfisa Zulu, we looked at this last week, and it's a story we shouldn't forget. Good morning.
That's right, Bongani. Good morning. Amnesty International South Africa says it will continue to push for justice for 3-year-old Unecebo Mboteni, who died after allegedly falling into a pit toilet in the Eastern Cape. This happened at the boys' preschool in April last year in Danzane. The NGO says it's outrageous that the Basic Education Department and the daycare centre have not taken responsibility for what happened to the child. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Earlier this year, Education Minister Siviwe Gwagube announced that the department had successfully eradicated 96% of pit toilets identified under the 2018 SAFE initiative. According to Amnesty International South Africa, the little boy's parents are not even sure if the pit toilet he was found in has been removed. The organization's program and impact manager, Alicia Yoster, says this is very concerning.
Unecebo has been the third child to be found in a pit toilet in the Eastern Cape since 2018. It's incredibly concerning that the department still hasn't missed its own deadline to remove pit toilets.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
Following a recent court ruling ordering the city of Johannesburg to register its informal traders, today marks the final day for the verification of street vendors. Earlier this month, the Gauteng High Court gave the city until this day to register informal traders in the CBD on its systems. The ruling came after the Socio-Economic Rights Institute of South Africa took the metro to court, arguing that it had violated the traders' rights to earn a livelihood. This was after the city decided to evict vendors operating outside designated areas and without valid trading permits. Alfara Mushwana reports.
The city of Johannesburg has been working to clean up the CBD, which includes removing informal traders who've been operating illegally. More than 500 traders were affected, and the Gauteng High Court ordered the city to formalize them and provide trading stalls by today. Johannesburg Mayor Tata Morero says the process has been underway, but not all traders have come forward to register for trading permits.
211 traders were linked on the court judgment, and we have now allocated them space. We are just awaiting to finalize those that have refugee and asylum status, and once we have cleared those, we'll also allocate.
The city continues to deny that these actions were prompted by the presence of international visitors for the upcoming G20 Leaders Summit this week. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News.
A former SARS employee and registered tax practitioner has been sentenced to 6 years for fraud and forgery in the Bellville Regional Court in the Western Cape. Michael Benson was convicted for submitting false VAT returns and claiming undue refunds, as well as submitting false documents to justify the claims. Benson, who worked for SARS as an auditor between 1997 and 2000, was also convicted of failing to keep proper records, and during this period he submitted returns and fraudulently claimed an amount of 1.7 million rand, of which 1.5 was paid to his own bank account. But SARS blocked the final claim after discovering the fraudulent claims. NPA spokesperson Eric Ntabazalila said they welcome the conviction and sentence.
The sentence sends a decisive message that the NPA will not tolerate fraud, abuse of public trust, or the manipulation of the tax system for personal gain. Those entrusted to uphold the integrity of South Africa's revenue services have a highest duty to act lawfully and ethically. When they betray that trust, the NPA will act firmly and without hesitation to ensure accountability.
And climate talks in Brazil have continued into the night at the COP30 gathering. Following a difficult first week, Brazil sets a deadline for nations to finalize a significant part of the negotiations by this evening for approval the following day. COP30 President Andre Correia de Lego says it has been a difficult process with some countries still at odds. No progress has been made to reconcile differences over weak climate commitments, insufficient financial pledges, and trade measures. Gold is trading at $125.36. In the weather, a cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 11 and 12 degrees, peaking at highs between 20 and 22 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got peak time delays on the N1 South between the Brakfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. While travelling in the city of Tshwane, hectic delays along the N1 South between the Proof Plus Interchange and Linwood Road. An accident right at the Proof Plus turn-off causing causing these delays. If you are traveling on the N4 West, you'll be affected by the scene.
The top story this hour, Amnesty International South Africa says it will continue to push for justice for 3-year-old Unocebo Mpoteni, who died after allegedly falling into a pit toilet.
Looking for big savings this Black Friday? Well, Outsurance has got the deal. Get a quote, and if they can't beat your current car insurance premium, you can ask them for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. You could get a monthly premium savings or at least 500 Rand in cash. Get more out. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Is there any criminal case that is open against this Tabo Homalaka for all these allegations of corruption and wanting to bribe a journalist? Because that video that was released after your interaction with her, I mean, everybody was just shocked, and she tried to sort of justify. It just didn't make sense still.
There's another whole team looking at the video angle. So the alleged bribery investigation, and that is an active Hawks investigation, and then a separate Hawks investigation is ongoing into the EPWP contract and the property and those kind of financial dealings.
Peter Louis Myberg, an investigative journalist with the Daily Maverick.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Congratulations to the lucky Powerball Plus jackpot winner who won over 6 million Rand on Friday after playing at a retailer in Lone Hill, Gauteng. Play Powerball and Powerball Plus for 44 million Rand in total estimated jackpots this Tuesday, and you could win big. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda, Pusha, Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Steve, you moved to Momentum. Congrats.
Thanks.
It's Tasha. Listen, the fast-paced life in Josie just isn't working for me. I'm migrating to the Cape.
What does that have to do with life insurance?
Well, you know I love a glass or three. And I want to age as graciously as a smooth Merlot, not a box of cardboard dough.
Naturally.
And I need my critical illness cover to pair with those chilled vibes.
Of course. With Momentum, you get the most comprehensive critical illness cover in the market. You could say it's a full-bodied offering.
I'll toast to that.
Chat to your financial advisor about Momentum's critical illness cover. Momentum, protecting your journey to success. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. Tim from Joburg here. It actually blows me away how lax the guidelines were for ANC council members. They didn't need a matric until now. That's mind-blowing. No matric, no background checks, none of that. That's insane.
Finally, the ANC is catching up. 30 years later, we now have people, hopefully, with at least a matric running the country. It's no wonder the country's gone down. I mean, it's been run by buffoons. Can you imagine if every business in South Africa was run by somebody who didn't have a matric? I'm not saying there are people without a matric that haven't been successful. But listen, they're less than 1%.
We forget. Sometimes, I mean, what's the budget of Joburg? How many billions? We forget the millions these people are placed in charge of. We had a mayor. Yeah, we've seen that movie, right? Remember that moment on Carte Blanche with Masakekan, where he had to kind of sniggle out of admitting he didn't even have a matric, that one. There was one who had only a matric and there was one who didn't have a matric, right? Had a diploma. That's why it matters. That's why these municipalities are failing. But the ANC is raising the bar, Cindy Peluta. They are lifting the standards. Now, if you want to be a councillor, you have to have a matric.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Hi, Bongani. If Oscar got his masters the right way, why is he challenging the investigations? If he has nothing to worry, why is he challenging that?
Yeah, that's the other one, right? So if you're confused about it, let me explain it. Oscar Mabuyane is the current Eastern Cape Premier. He registers for a master's program at the University of Fort Hare. It then emerges that he may not have an honors degree. You can't just go from a junior degree to go to a master's without some kind of recognition or process from the university. So then there's an investigation looking into this. He goes to challenge that investigation because the terms of that proclamation to investigate this matter were limited only to, it didn't specifically say investigate honors degrees. Do you see what I mean? So he says, you can't look at my master's issue because the proclamation you were given doesn't say look at that. So he wins. And the SIU is told by the judge, listen, you guys can just amend the proclamation. It's no big deal, which of course the SIU do. But he goes now to court on the basis of that first proclamation. And the SIU are like, sweetie, we are so far advanced in this investigation because remember we amended it? So your objection, and the ANC in the Eastern Cape are like, no, big victory. He's been cleared. Now we're hearing from the SIU this morning, there's about 20 individuals who are walking around claiming to have master's degrees there, PhDs there, including, and I'm not saying that she's been found guilty of anything, but she's one of the people who allegedly had a fake qualification. The last minister before the GNU, the last minister of Public Service and Administration. I mean, how many of these councillors are going to have fake matrics, I wonder?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Vulenda, who is in Protea Glen. Vulenda, what's today's answer, please?
Hi, Bongani. Today's answer is Michael Kamen.
Michael Kamen. Oh, that's a bit of a rough one. Vulenda, we'll take it. 1,000 Rand coming your way, thanks to Outsurance and 702. Michael Kamen is the answer. What, pray tell, is the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
All right, Cindy Paluta, let's get straight into sport where you don't have to fake anything. Yeah, right. Let's
Except my joy of being here, Bongani.
I mean, yeah, sportsmen and women have faked things or two, one or two things before.
Well,
let's talk about FIFA World Cup qualifications.
The reason my husband doesn't like watching football at all is because he says they fake the injuries too much, where somebody gets tapped and they roll. And he's like,
dramatic.
Come on.
They just get a little dramatic.
So for him, it's like, no, because he likes MotoGP where a guy comes off the bike, spins through the sand and then gets a broken collarbone and still keeps him going.
That's
and
the
then he
real
says,
stuff.
and then a soccer player just gets tapped on the ankle and he's down for 4 minutes and needs spray. It's like, come on.
And then he gets up and he's
And then he
sprinting
spins
around.
off and scores a goal. Right.
I see what he means.
Germany and Netherlands have qualified for the FIFA World Cup. They're Germany beating Slovakia 6-0. Netherlands beat Lithuania 4-0. Tonight, a win for Spain over Turkey and Switzerland over Kosovo will see them through. Denmark need a minimum a draw against Scotland. World Rugby unveiled a new 12-team biennial tournament called the Nations Championship. It puts 6 Northern Hemisphere teams against 6 Southern Hemisphere teams playing each other once off. So next year, the Box Inbound series is part of this tournament. They host England, Scotland and Wales. Then in November, their end-of-year tour will be Italy, France and Ireland with the Nations Championship final at the end of November.
So imagine being the holders of the World Cup, the Rugby Championship, and now, what is it called?
The Nations Championship.
Nations Championship.
Yes. And then you could also be the holders of the greatest rivalry if you wanted, because in August and September they're hosting the All Blacks, and that replaces the Rugby Championship for next year.
I'm just excited about all the rugby we're going to be watching.
I feel sorry for them. I think it's great. I think this is phenomenal. We were going to play the inbound series anyway. We were going to play the end of year tour anyway. We play the Rugby Championship anyway. But I think we're starting to see how much of an impact rugby is taking on them, which is fine because that's why Rassie has an
depth.
incredible brain
Yeah.
and incredible depth, right? They are playing Ireland this weekend. Assistant coach Mzwandile Stick defended Lux de Jager and Mostert, who was shown red over the last 2 weeks.
Everything that I've seen, even the Fiji and the France game, the clean-outs that were there, the Ireland game against Australia, situations that were even worse than what those guys have been suspended for. And then for them, they suspended. But other players will come back and play this week. Surely, somehow, this is not fair. I don't think we deserve this as a team. We're doing everything in our powers to make sure that we send the right message when it comes to how we play the game. We play in a good spirit. We've never talked bad about other teams.
Ireland is boosted in the front line by the return to fitness of Gary Ringrose and Josh van der Flier, while Thomas Clarkson passed his HIA. They could be without Stuart McCluskey, who injured his groin against Australia. In cricket, India captain Shubham Gill's been discharged from hospital. Gill, who left the field on day 2 of the first test, the Proteas, was receiving treatment for neck spasms. He's a doubt for the second test that starts Saturday. New Zealand batter Daryl Mitchell is injured. He's out the remainder of the ODI series, the West Indies. The Black Caps lead the 3-match series 1-0. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Access to the internet is vital for any country to grow. That's why the recent 6.75 billion rand digital infrastructure deal that Standard Bank Corporate and Investment Banking facilitated between Telkom and an Actors-led consortium is so transformational for South Africa. It unlocks growth and provides internet access to underserved communities who will now have access to the internet for the very first time. Search CIB Stories of Impact to watch the full story.
Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
At Isuzu, we know every delivery, every kilometer, and every load is building something bigger. This truck month, set your business up for success with special deals across the Isuzu N and F-Series ranges. Don't get left behind. Speak to your Isuzu truck specialist or call 08600 Isuzu and secure your truck month deal today. Isuzu, with you for the long run. T's and C's apply.
So you thought you were building a business in this economy, but day by day, somehow it grew. You kept going when the freezer didn't freeze, the bucket didn't budge, and the bank balance barely blinked. So you thought you were building a business. You weren't. It was building you. Because this isn't just what you do anymore. It's who you are. And you don't trust just anybody to protect it. Chat to your broker about Old Mutual Insure Business Insurance. Protect what built you. Old Mutual Insure Limited is a licensed FSP and non-life insurer.
EWN Traffic.
Right, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Citroen. On the 22nd of November, experience Super Saturday when you book a test drive at your nearest Citroen dealership. Make your Saturday super. Traffic in the capital, Amo.
Hectic Bongani on most routes. The N1 south between Sofakoma, Khato and Linwood Road. This is due to an earlier accident, so please try to avoid. If you're heading towards Centurion, maybe you can use the Eskiampahlele exit through the CBD. While traveling on the N4 West, queuing traffic as well between Tamboti Avenue and the Proof Plus interchange. If you're traveling in Irene, queuing traffic along the intersection of Main Road, Nalme Pierce Drive and Main Road. Faulty traffic lights are causing these delays, so please be patient along this route. And then if you're heading towards the city of Tshwane via the R21 North, do expect delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road, and that's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. There's also a car that is stuck on the road just causing these delays, so please try to use the N1 North through Midrand heading towards Centurion or even Irene. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Man, I'm super tired of my car.
Super tired?
Super.
So why don't you take a break from it?
Like a holiday?
A super long holiday. Take it in another car.
Isn't that expensive?
No, not with the Citroen Super Saturday. You can test drive the C3 starting at 264,500 or Aircross SUV from 281,500 and take a 4-month payment holiday.
Oh, those are super cars.
On 22 November, make your Saturday super. Visit your nearest Citroen dealership or visit the website to book a test drive. T's and C's apply.
Let's count backward. 5. Insurance. 4. Pineapple. 3. Insurance. 2. Pineapple. 1. You're under. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
After a short migration, the family arrives at the premier resort, rich in food, drink, and entertainment. The young, freed from classroom captivity, head straight for Kids Club and the safety of the herd. The adult male meanders to the scuba center, while the matriarch basks by the pool.
Book your resort escape to Knysna, East London, Scottborough, or Sunny Pass at premierhotels.co.za.
As leaders in renewable energy finance, Nedbank has a track record spanning over 100 years. From pioneering large-scale solar and wind farms to financing complex energy infrastructure in emerging markets, Nedbank offers clients deep sector expertise, combined with the ability to navigate the unique challenges of Africa's just energy transition. See money differently. Nedbank. Nedbank is a licensed FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance, please tell me what's the question. If the answer is Michael Kamen, let's go to Saiza in Eldorado Park. Saiza, what's the question?
Question is, what is the name of the American composer who passed away today at the age of 55 in 2003?
The unsung hero, because of course he collaborated with so many artists. You name them. Sting, the Eurythmics, Queen. Really the unsung hero of so much great music. So Isa, congratulations. You walk away with 2,000 Rand in cash. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Michael Kamen, he was principally a score writer behind many movies, but also collaborated on pop music like this.
In a stranger's coat, no one would you see. Ask yourself, who'd watch for me? My only friend, who could it be? It's hard to say it, I hate to say it, but it's probably me.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that video to download. Or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 45142. Like 57-year-old Andy, who now pays only 1,083 Rand a month for his 2024 Ford Ranger. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. Get used to getting more out. SMS out to 45142. After switching, 48-year-old Felicity now pays only 836 Rand a month for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson. Outsurance will either save you money on your car insurance or give you cash. That's right. If Outsurance can't beat what you're currently paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
702
702. What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Let's catch up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
Whose car is it anyway? Let's start there.
So this was a video that's gone viral with Black Coffee and his girlfriend. And I think, standing, on the entrance to the home, and she's driving either in or out in a beautiful, I think it's a 911 Porsche. And he's filming her, and he basically says something to her. So let's take a listen to the little interaction between the two of them, and then we'll chat thereafter.
Why do you keep stealing my car?
Our car. It's too nice.
So she says it's our car.
Yes, I saw that.
The interesting one there. So I wanted to ask a chat to our 702 family this morning.
Can I be naughty?
Yes, you can.
Didn't she just arrive?
I wonder if that new mansion, a 157 million rand mansion in Clifton, is ours as well. I wonder if the prenup will say such.
Okay. As you were, Kabazela.
Yeah, but let's say now you obviously are married, settled down, and, traditionally you have his and her car, or, whatever it may be. Do you interchange cars as a couple? So, if you want to pop over to the shop and maybe your car is parked in the garage and the missus's car is not in the garage, are you happy with each other just to use interchangeably each other's car? Or is it basically my car and your car? And please don't drive my car to the shops, and vice versa. I'd love to know what the dynamics are. Or if it's basically, cool, here's the keys, use it whenever you want to. Yeah. I really don't mind. Because some of us are quite precious over our beloved babies.
Yes, no, I'm not a car sharer.
I didn't think you would be a car sharer.
No way. All right, talk about parenting standards, Kabazela.
This is a very interesting one. Maybe it could touch a nerve with some parents, or maybe you kind of no, it doesn't. I'm pretty fine with it. So this original post is a photo of a mother and her daughter sitting at a table at a restaurant. The mother I think she's reading the menu, and next to her is the little girl, and she has got her iPad on the table, and she's watching one of her little cartoons. And basically the post says, "A ridiculous way to parent. I would die before setting an iPad in front of my child in public. Lazy," is what the post says with that photograph. Now, many people have responded. I'll give you two different responses. Many people saying, "Wait until you're a parent. We have 4 children, and I've never let our kids do this at a restaurant. We give them little tinker toys, or they draw, or they talk with us. It's called enforcing standards. Many parents are afraid to do it." Then another one, I'll just summarize here, basically said that they didn't have family or a village around them to help raise their kids. But when they did go to restaurants, maybe on a Friday night, which was not very often, they would happily hand over the iPads, let the kids do that, and the parents, the two of them, could sit and have a glass of wine and chat to each other, and let the kids do their thing on the iPad whilst they're at the restaurant. When they're at home, different story. So what do you do when you go to the restaurants with your kids? Do you give them the iPads, the phone automatically, and just let them do their thing there? Or do you try and encourage some conversation, some interaction, maybe iPads away and drawing, colouring in, or whatever it may be? What are your views when it comes to that kind of parenting?
All right, that's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
702.
702.
Feedback.
With Rupfiwa Kone.
Yeah, no, I'm way past the coloring book stage of my kids' growth. You're still there? So is it electronics or crayons?
We are hardworking parents, Bongani, whatever is easiest at that moment. I'm not even going to judge anybody for giving electronics and giving this or that. Parents have a lot to deal with. So that moment you get...
That's not where I thought that answer was going.
I'm serious.
I thought you were going to say we're hardworking parents. We don't go out. I did not expect it to go that far left.
I'm not judging any parent as far as
What other feedback do you have?
Well, Bongani, listeners are reacting to the conversation you were supposed to have with Kanita Hunter, sorry about that, saying that while South Africa remains one of the country's fewest stable countries on the continent, so we will receive an influx of immigrants coming into the country by default.
Yeah, no, that's not the point of that story. That's not the point of that story. The point of that story was OR Tambo not being secure. And I think people are missing that. And I get why people will have issues around migration and how all of that happens. But if a plane lands, I mean, this is like somebody, you wake up one day and there's somebody sitting in your lounge.
And you don't know how
how they came in. And the doors are locked and the gates are locked and they're sitting in your lounge having a cup of tea, saying, would you like some?
Yeah, now we need to deal with the situation now that they're here, Bongani.
Of course we do. But if we don't know how they got here, how many more are still coming? How many more are already here that we don't know about? That, for me, is the point of the story. Let's go to news.
This is EWN.
Mary De Haas will have a chance to tell MPs about the political killings task team, and the South African leaders say they are not deterred by Donald Trump's latest threats. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. KwaZulu-Natal-based researcher and crime activist Professor Mary De Haas will be grilled over her role in the directive to disband the political killings task team when Parliament's police inquiry resumes today. The Haas will take to the stand to testify before the ad hoc committee that's investigating allegations of police corruption and interference after being mentioned by several witnesses, including KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. The ad hoc committee inquiry continues after prematurely ending its hearings with Minister Senzo Mchunu Chief of Staff Cedric Nkabinde last week after he gave conflicting evidence. Babalo Ndenza reports.
Minister Senzo Mchunu told the committee during his testimony that several people wanted to engage him on policing matters, including Mary De Haas. He told the committee that De Haas wrote extensively to the department to share her inputs. De Haas also called for the disbandment of the political killings task team and an audit of its funding. KZN Provincial Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi during his testimony urged the committee to invite De Haas to give evidence.
I want to challenge and I want to request this ad hoc committee to invite Mary De Haas, not visually. If she's in a wheelchair, we'll bring her here. But she must come here and sit in this chair and repeat that which she wrote. And then allow the honorable members to ask her questions.
De Haas's testimony will be followed by Deputy National Commissioner Tebelo Mosigili and Head of Procurement General Molefi Fani on Wednesday and Thursday respectively. Babalo Ndenza, Eyewitness News.
In Pretoria, controversial Northwest businessman Brown Mokhotsi will appear before the Madlanga Commission as the inquiry shifts into Phase 2 of hearings. Now, Phase 2 will give those implicated in Phase 1 the opportunity to respond to the allegations leveled against them. 2 weeks ago, Mokhotsi survived an alleged assassination attempt after a car he was traveling in was shot at several times near Vosloorus on the East Rand. Mokhotsi has been mentioned at the Commission as someone who allegedly meddled in police affairs. Oren Singh reports.
On the 5th of March, during a parliamentary portfolio committee sitting, the name of Brown
Mokgotsi was first made public by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkonazi. Mkonazi accused Mokgotsi of meddling in police affairs and being a close associate to Police Minister Senzo Mchunu. Evidence previously presented before the Madlanga Commission showed alleged WhatsApp exchanges between Mokgotsi and criminally accused tender tycoon Vusi Muzi Kat Matlala. The messages show that Mokgotsi received more than 100,000 rand from Matlala in gratification payments with the promises to arrange a meeting for Matlala and Mchunu. Mokgotsi also facilitated the payments for flights and accommodation from Matlala for several ANC delegates to attend the January 8th celebrations in Cape Town. Suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya confirmed that he knows and met Mokgotsi on at least 2 occasions. Mokgotsi is also understood to have close links to Crime Intelligence Head of National Security and Counterintelligence, Feroz Khan. Aryan Singh, Eyewitness News.
South Africa is positive that its G20 presidency will adopt a leaders' declaration when the one-year term ends this week. The G20 Leaders Summit is set to be hosted in Joburg at the weekend, where heads of state will hopefully sign off on a document on how to address economic growth, trade reforms, ballooning debts, the Africa trade, food and energy security and climate change. The country's optimism about reaching consensus on policy priorities to take forward comes amid the US's decision to boycott the gathering. US President Donald Trump has also allegedly moved to oppose a G20 Joburg's leaders' declaration in his deliberate absence. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says the declaration rests on the ongoing final round of negotiations and not on Trump's comments.
The fact that the USA is not here does not preclude the declaration. If the countries that are participating now agree on a declaration, they can say this is a declaration of the countries that participated.
Meanwhile, the final big G20 event before the Leaders Summit this weekend starts in Johannesburg today, with more than 5,000 people expected to gather for the social summit. The platform was first introduced by last year's G20 host Brazil and aims to bridge the divide between high-level decision makers and grassroots movements. Among the priorities of the 3-day agenda are digital inclusion, climate justice, food security and sustainable finance. Lindsay Tentlinga takes a look.
In keeping with the G20 theme of solidarity, equality and sustainability, the G20 Social Summit will bring together youth movements, women's organizations, faith-based groups, disability advocacy groups and community forums. Minister in the presidency, Kumbutso Ntshavheni, says the groups will be discussing global issues that have a direct impact on their daily lives.
It's not only governments that decide the future, it's also ordinary citizens that must contribute to what decision makers do.
She says the G20 Social Summit aims to elevate issues of social development, equity and inclusion to the same level as macroeconomic and financial matters.
South Africa's G20 is not an elitist congregation. It's also informed by what our people think.
While it's unlikely the United States will continue with this platform when it takes over as host of the G20 next year, South Africa says it wants to ensure ordinary people play a role in shaping the outcomes of the G20 process. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,022.21 an ounce. The rand is at 17.18 to the dollar, 22.62 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.81 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is between the Brakfontein interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. There's also queuing traffic along the R21 North heading towards the city of Tshwane. This is due to roadworks that are taking place right near Olifantsfontein Road.
And in your sport, the Springboks inbound and end-of-year tours next year will now form part of a new Nations Championship that puts the Northern Hemisphere against the Southern Hemisphere. Spain and Switzerland 1 win away from qualifying for the FIFA World Cup, while Germany and Netherlands cruise to book their spot. India captain Shubham Gill a dart for the second test to the Proteas.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected later. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, KZN-based researcher and crime activist Professor Mary de Haas will be grilled over her role in the directive to disband the political killings task team when Parliament's police inquiry resumes.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock, Kabazela wants to know, do you let your spouse drive your car? And if not, why not? And how do you handle the little ones when you go out for dinner? Do you give them the electronics? The coloring book, is that still a thing? I remember Spur used to actually even have crayons and little puzzles and little things the kids could color in. Is that still a thing? I mean, I haven't been a parent to a youngster like that for many, many a year. Your reaction to our interview with the Special Investigating Unit looking at the qualifications fraud saga at the University of Fort Hare, but it's a much bigger investigation than that. Surely, if you are asked to produce your qualifications, you produce them, if you have them. You don't surely fight with the guy who's asking you to produce them, to say he can't ask you to produce them.
And if you don't have them, you go to the institution where you attained them and you hand them over.
You produce them.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing? Muteo?
Maybe it's
when last did you see your matric certificate?
You
know there are jobs that they want it.
Yeah, every time. We have a folder at home with all those things, but I haven't seen it in a very, very
everything
long time.
else. I just don't know where my matric certificate is. I left it from the department. And worst of all, I was that last cohort of Transvaal Education Department.
Before Madus.
Cape. There was Cape Province, Natal, Orange Free State. Yo, guys.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Morning, Bongani. Morning, 702 listeners. Bongani, with regards to sharing a car with your partner, my wife likes to use my car. Now, I drive a bigger car than hers, and not only that, my car constantly has petrol. Now, I don't mind sharing, but Bongani, why is it that she constantly, I don't want to say it's women, maybe it's just her, she constantly leaves her shoes in the car? If it's not shoes, it's her handbags. If it's not that, it's the water bottles. And then it's makeup stains on my sun visor. Oh, Kosia Mrs. Lebo from Firenachin, thanks.
When I still had an automatic car, she used to, before she would go out, she would check if my car has fuel. And if it has fuel, more fuel than hers would have usually, then she'd use my car. And every time you'll find that when there's fuel, then she's gonna use my car all the time instead of her car. Now that I drive manual, she doesn't even get close to the car. She always uses her automatic. I think buying a manual car was the best decision that I made, because even when I have a full tank, I'm not bothered.
Morning, Bongani and 702 lenders, Casey from the south. I drive my partner's car once in a while, at least once a week. In the main, just to check, minute thing like, is the car still in a good alignment? The other day I drove the car and you won't believe it. I was driving straight, but the steering wheel was, you'd say I was turning right. Just to check those things, the brakes, because had I not drove that car on the day, she would be driving that car even today without having gone for a wheel alignment. So that's the reason why I drive a car. Cheers, man. Nice show.
Good morning, Bongani, Kabazela and team. On the car story, no, Bongani, I don't share my car. Unless if there's an emergency, then, I can make that sacrifice. But other than that, no, I don't share my car. People can be messy. We don't look after our cars the same way. Be it hygiene and also the exterior scratches and dents. So, no.
Morning, Bongs. Yes, my wife and I interchange cars all the time. She uses my car when her car is out of petrol, and then she uses my car. And then as soon as her car's got a full tank, she's back to using her car. So yeah, we interchange cars all the time. It's Kalu from Baklu.
Look, I get the points that are being made. Lovely voice notes, all of you. The mess is part of the difficulty. That's why I struggle to share the car. Lebu from Vereniging, I think it was. Makeup stains on his visor. Bottles. I would go. I was hyperventilating just listening to that voice note. And then, of course, the difference between manual and automatic and the fuel issue. But it is a point around the state of the car. There are things that perhaps as a regular driver, you won't necessarily notice. Just yesterday, because it was raining, I was asked the question, hang on, when last did you have a look at your wipers? And because you just drive your car, right? And you don't think about. And so sometimes when you share your car, you need someone to point out those little things.
Like a second fresh.
Fresh pair of eyes that you perhaps wouldn't necessarily notice because you're such a regular user. Chief Makanya, do you share your car? I want to know.
Yes. I guess that's how I was brought up as well. My father, whatever car that was in the yard could be used as long as it's not spoken to. Obviously, there were rules and regulations. If you found the car clean, you had to clean it when you give it back. The same amount of petrol must be there or more. So even in my household, there's no one who has a specific car, except me because of the government vehicle. So no one drives that. But any other car, and I'm not talking like, small cars, it's 7 Series, X5, your big cars. So I think if I taught you how to drive, and I'm confident to actually accompany you to go and get your license so that you can get a car, I can trust you.
You are far more generous than I am. You're a far more generous man than I am. I need you to, even if you have your license, I need you to drive your, what do they call it? The starter pack car first. Get your initial, dings on that initial car, not on mine. Thank you very much. The little kiddies, Amo, electronics or coloring books? When you're out?
Coloring books anytime, any day. And also, restaurants still have those Bongani coloring books and crayons as well. Doppio Zero is one favorite of my children's because they have those nice things that you can color and actually take home. And I don't have to struggle with my kids when we are at restaurants. They're not those cell phone or iPad kids, never. And I don't even have to struggle with them. They will talk. If they don't have coloring things or, those entertainment areas for kids to go play at, they will just sit down and talk and we'll have a whole conversation.
And that's why they are the wind beneath your wings.
EWN Traffic.
All right, what parent is sitting in traffic now wishing they had those coloring books, Amo?
Well, the people on the R21, certainly, Bongani, these roadworks are causing delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road, so please be on the lookout there. And more roadworks are also causing delays on the N3 South between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive, while traveling on the Mike 1 South, delays between the Baklu turn off and Marlborough Drive. I'll have more updates, do stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You could spend 10 minutes waiting for that file to download, or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For his 2024 Ford Ranger, 57-year-old Andy now pays only 1,083 Rand a month. And for her 2020 Hyundai Tucson, 48-year-old Felicity pays just 836 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Since December 2024, South Africa has proudly led the G20, guided by a powerful theme: solidarity, equality, and sustainability. From the heart of Africa, we're bringing fresh voices and bold ideas, united by a commitment to build a future where no one is left behind, where economies grow fairly, and where our planet's health guides every decision. South Africa's G20 Presidency 2025, together shaping tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the Department of International Relations and Cooperation.
Summer's here, and with Fly Safair now flying between Lanseria, East London and PE from just 770 Rand, you can make any of these 3 holiday hotspots your go-to this festive season. From sun-soaked beaches to buzzing city breaks, Fly Safair has you all set for the holidays, wherever the adventure takes you. So pack your sunnies, pick your playground, and fly into summer. Book now at flysafair.co.za. Fly Safair, for the love of flying. T's and C's apply.
You know what success looks like. Now discover why focus is the driving force behind every success story. Catch 702 in conversation with Momentum on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters every Thursday, discussing the science of success. Step into the mindset of top financial achievers and discover how your thinking, behavior, and focus can shape lasting financial success. That's 702 in conversation with Momentum. Thursdays on The Money Show with Stephen Krutters. Momentum, your journey to success on 702. Momentum is an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, the first one started yesterday at Emperor's Palace, and there are going to be a lot more ahead of the 2026 local government elections. The Electoral Commission, the Independent Electoral Commission, running these workshops for those, of course, who would seek office across all 9 provinces. And the idea is to get all the 60 new parties that have registered recently to be fully up to speed with what is expected of councillors. Joined now by the Acting General Manager at the IEC, the Independent Electoral Commission. And that's, of course, James Apane. Pleasure to have you on our show. It's all full steam ahead to next year's local government elections.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity, Bongani, and good morning to our listeners. As you know, the saying goes, you lose time at the beginning and not the end. And as we do it in Mzansi style, we say walala wasala. That's the reason why we started with this workshop so early.
I mean, it's extraordinary. We have 508 political parties registered in South Africa, 60 of them in this new cycle.
Absolutely. There's interest, but it's very important that it's not just registration. We still have to comply with the requirements for candidate nomination. But certainly we do have a lot of people that have got interest in politics, which is a good thing. But certainly when the time arrives for candidate nomination to open, people must still comply with the requirements.
All right. What do newcomers typically stumble over?
Well, first thing is lack of information. When we register a party, we give them what you call an information pack, wherein they can read for themselves. But we also need to make sure that they are aware of the timelines in terms of candidate nomination, the deposits required, and if they need to make changes, because you can be a registered party, but later on you want to make changes to the logo. These sessions that we are running is wherein we give you the opportunity to make sure that you are absolutely ready. Things to stumble across, as you indicate, is wherein we provide alternatives for registration of parties online, which is something new we started with. But when it comes to candidate nomination, Bongani, people always complain about not having enough time. So this is why we start early. We're going to create a playpen for people to make sure that we've got all the documents required so they can capture early. It's always about we've run out of time. So this is one of the biggest issues we had in the past.
And what's important for independents to note? They often say the rules are confusing.
Well, the independents, what they should just note is they've got set a different requirement to political parties. They are coming in as individuals, and therefore there's not a list required. But they also need to prove that they've got support in the ward when they want to contest. So they need to capture the supporters for themselves so that they qualify for that candidacy.
All right. And then, of course, for those who can't attend in person, is there an online option? Or is it just one of those, as you said, walala wasala?
Well, I must indicate there is no online platform as yet, but we do have a website wherein people can still read for themselves. And this is a series of consultations as we prepare for 2026-2027. We should actually have other sessions when we come closer to the elections, especially when the timetable is out, where we're now going to go into detail in terms of the candidate requirements. But we are also available at our offices. People can approach us and have bilaterals with us.
All right, fantastic stuff. James Apane there, the Acting General Manager at the Independent Electoral Commission, the IEC. 508 parties registered in South Africa, 60 of them, as I say, new. That's quite apart from those that will be running as independent candidates. So if you are in early, we heard from James Apane, you will be better prepared for what is to come in terms of all the rules and what you must comply with as a political party. I wonder if those 508 parties, how many will get 1 or 2 votes? Hey?
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
All right, Adam Gilchrist, let's start in Bangladesh. The ex-Prime Minister, what might the Queen of Hearts have said? Off with her head.
This is twisted politics in this case. Bangladesh's former Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death, which is the kind of verdict that will send shockwaves amongst some in Bangladesh. She has her critics, she has her supporters. She's basically been convicted by the very court that she set up to punish war criminals from the liberation war of Bangladesh in 1971, when it stopped being East Pakistan. Remember those days? Maybe not. But this is a special tribunal that basically found her guilty of ordering the security forces to quell student-led protests last year. 1,400 people are estimated to have died. That's a UN estimate. 1,400 dead, and mostly shot dead by security forces. Soon after she was ousted from power, she went to live in exile in India. And she now says the court's decision is, quote, biased and politically motivated. Well, she would say that, wouldn't she? But the question is, will India extradite her? I know there'll be a lot of countries who'd feel very uneasy about extraditing somebody for whom there's a death penalty, but we shall see.
Now, eating without swallowing. This is a challenge, Adam?
I know. Isn't this crazy? I mean, daft. Dangerous. Age 1, you're told, aren't you, by your parents? Now chew your food. Here we have a 22-year-old man fighting for his life in hospital because he didn't. He swallowed an entire burger as part of some kind of challenge with friends. Don't know if the friends were trying to stop him or encourage him or what, but this guy is in intensive care in Koropi in Greece. Doctors say he's in a very critical condition. One doctor said he might need a miracle to survive because he attempted to swallow. I mean, think about a burger any size, but a whole burger, patty, bun, cheese, and I believe salad, all thrown in and without chewing. So amazingly, no, it blocked his esophagus and blocked his trachea and basically starved him of oxygen, starved the brain of oxygen. Everything got blocked up. You have to say, for online challenges, this is just so particularly stupid. I know there are lots of daft ones out there, and some of the daft, innocuous ones, whatever. It makes you yearn for the days of planking. Remember that? Let's all go back to planking. That was a lot safer.
A burger to die for, right? So that is really just absolutely obtuse, as you say. All right, tell me, a US village banning email complaints.
Now, I'm being a little bit anti-internety here. Well, let's keep going. So here we have a New York City suburb, basically, although they call themselves a village. It's Islandia on Long Island, not that far from Manhattan, where they've got so frustrated about the number of online complaints, electronic complaints, they have decided to ban them. So nobody can now complain through email or text or WhatsApp or whatever, because they found so many complaints are completely unfounded, whether they are pulling their chain or yanking their chain, or whether they are somehow deliberately trying to occupy the council. Maybe it's politically motivated, all that stuff, like my trash hasn't been collected, there's a tree in my way, there's a pothole in my road. These things get investigated by council officials and they go, they're not true. A lot of this is fake news. So the council officials in Islandia have decided they will block all that stuff. They tried blocking accounts, it didn't work. They tried a specific online complaints portal, that didn't work. Now, if you want to complain, you have to do it in person. Actual person-to-person contact at the village hall offices in Islandia. Please, I hope my council's listening. You can't speak to anyone on the phone, let alone go do it in person. Everything is an email into the ether that never seems to get a response. So Good on them. Let's hope this catches on in Islandia.
And you may reach Adam Gilchrist at...
Come and see me.
We'll leave it there for this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
All right, business news, Mateo. We are buying pre-loved cars, but also Chinese car brands are also popular with South Africans at the moment.
And that's a big problem for We Buy Cars because they're so affordable, people buy them new. And of course, We Buy Cars is in the business of selling pre-loved vehicles. So We Buy Cars posted a 13% increase in group revenue, reaching 26.4 billion rand for the year ending September. The company's vehicle buying and selling volumes also rose 7.5% and 8.4% respectively. Sales momentum remained strong over the past year. The group recorded monthly sales above 15,000 units in 6 of the last 12 months, helping it to further gain market share. Despite this growth, We Buy Cars noted market pressures, particularly from the growth of the Chinese automotive sector. Chinese brands like GWM, BYD and Haval are gaining popularity among South African motorists who are choosing to purchase new vehicles at significantly lower prices than comparable used cars.
We eat chicken. If we buy cars, we eat chicken.
A lot of it. Astral Foods has reported better revenue growth for the financial year ending in September. The group revenue rose to 10.4% at 22.6 billion rand. The earnings were up from 20.5 billion from 2024. Now, Astral is keeping chicken the main thing. Its poultry division remained its revenue driver, adding 82.5% of total external revenue, while the feed division accounted for 17.5%.
Where's the rand?
17 rand 19 cents against the US dollar, in the red this morning at 19 rand 93 against the euro, and you'll need 22 rand 62 cents to get a single British pound. The price of gold at $4,014 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,523. Brent crude now at $63.74 a barrel. Stephen Crotis with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfisa Zulu, what you got at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. Amnesty International South Africa says it will continue to push for justice for 3-year-old Unocebo Mboteni, who died after allegedly falling into a pit toilet in the Eastern Cape. This happened at the boys' preschool in April last year in Danzane. The NGO says it's outrageous that the Basic Education Department and Daycare Centre have not taken responsibility for what happened to the child. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
Earlier this year, Education Minister Siviwe Gwagube announced that the department had successfully eradicated 96% of pit toilets identified under the 2018 SAFE initiative. According to Amnesty International South Africa, the little boy's parents are not even sure if the pit toilet he was found in has been removed. The organization's program and impact manager, Alicia Yoster, says this is very concerning.
Unocebo has been the third child to be found in a pit toilet in the Eastern Cape since 2018. It's incredibly concerning that the department still hasn't missed its own deadline to remove pit toilets.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
The city of Johannesburg will provide an update this morning on the 2-week process of verifying and registering informal traders in the CBD. Earlier this month, the High Court ordered the Metro to formalize and allocate trading stalls to more than 500 vendors by today. The ruling followed a case brought by the Socio-Economic Rights Institute of South Africa, which argued that the city infringed on the traders' rights to earn a living. This legal action came after the city's cleanup campaign, during which illegal informal traders operating outside designated trading zones were removed. Mayor Dada Morero says more people have now shown interest in becoming informal traders.
And the number is around 1,500 of people who want to trade in the inner city. So we'll be looking at what are innovative ways that we can deal with to ensure that they can trade in a proper designated areas and start avoiding pavements.
And International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola says the government is still investigating the arrival of more than 150 Palestinians at OR Tambo International Airport. The group landed last Friday and was left stranded for more than 12 hours on the tarmac for not having the required permits to be in the country. 130 people were eventually allowed into the country after humanitarian group Gift of the Givers offered them accommodation, and the rest went to other destinations. Lamola addressed the matter yesterday while giving a state of readiness for the G20 summit briefing at Nasrec.
It is indeed an issue of concern to us. It does look like it represents a broader agenda to remove Palestinians from Palestine into many different parts of the world, and it's a clearly orchestrated operation.
Lamola says South Africa doesn't expect other suspicious arrivals.
And we do not want any further flights to come our way, because this is a clear agenda to cleanse out the Palestinians out of Gaza and the West Bank and those areas which South Africa is against.
A cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected later. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3, both directions between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu interchange. That's due to roadworks. While traveling on the R21 north in the Tembisa area, more roadworks are causing delays approaching Olifantsfontein Road.
The top story this hour, Amnesty International says it will continue to push for justice for 3-year-old Unecebo Mboteni, who died after allegedly falling in a pit toilet in the Eastern Cape.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch it this Wednesday, 10 to 9, featuring iStore, their CEO Chris Dodd, in conversation with us. And we do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
Upgrade your summer to extraordinary with free gifts from Vodacom on all summer deals. Like the Redmi 15 on a Red Flexi 160 plan for just $199 per month over 36 months. And get Redmi Bud 6 Play with $399 on us. Plus, enjoy even more extras with 5 gigs YouTube data and 2 months free YouTube Premium. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, 72 listeners. My daughter's 4, so she loves to play. So every time we go out, we just go to a kid-friendly restaurant where she just, goes berserk, runs around, and plays the whole time we are there until we leave. So there's really no need for iPads or for phones. However, if a parent allows their child to do so, why not? I don't see it as a problem.
We kind of do both. I think there's days where we will say, use the tablet. And then other times we'll play. It's actually really fun. So if we get paper at a restaurant or whatever, we play people, places, things. And then we put all the alphabets and then we'll guess. We done this for one of our holidays and it was fantastic. We had such a wonderful time with the kids. It kept us all engaged. So it wasn't that the kids were busy and then we were busy. It was that we were all interacting together with the same thing. And I think that's actually quite cool.
We're talking, of course, electronics or the traditional coloring books. How do you interact with your kids, particularly when you are in public? Do you let them be on their own whilst you catch up with adult conversation? Let them go play on the swings whilst you carry on with your merry life? Or do you do it all together as a family?
EWN Sport.
Quite a heavy workload for the Springboks for the coming season.
Yeah, it is.
Cindy?
It is, but it'll be quite an exciting 2026 because the inbound series and the end of year tour will be played as part of a new tournament called the Nations Championship. It'll be a biennial tournament that has 12 teams, so 6 from the Southern Hemisphere, 6 from the Northern Hemisphere, with the final being a North versus South battle in November. So next year, the Boks inbound series is England, Scotland and Wales. Then in November, the end of year tour will be Italy, France and Ireland. The Boks play Ireland this weekend. Ibn Etzebeth is excited.
Yeah, I think obviously a great team. I think they've been on top of the world rankings, if I say on top, in the top 3 for the last couple of years. So quality side, and yeah, looking forward to this game. Also, when we've got the calendar at the start of the year, was definitely one of the fixtures that stood out. So yeah, we're excited for this weekend. It's going to be a good clash.
So this weekend, Ireland is boosted in the front line by the return of fitness of Gary Ringrose and Josh van der Flier, while Thomas Clarkson passed his HIA. They could be without Stuart McCloskey, who injured his groin against Australia. FIFA World Cup qualifiers tonight. A win for Spain over Turkey and Switzerland over Kosovo will see them advance as group winners and qualify. Denmark needs at minimum a draw over Scotland. Austria also needs a draw or more against Bosnia-Herzegovina. Last night, Netherlands and Germany qualified. Netherlands beat Lithuania 4-0. Germany beat Slovakia 6-0. And in cricket, India captain Shubham Gill has been discharged from hospital. Gill, who left the field on day 2 of the first test with the Proteas, was receiving treatment for neck spasms and is a doubt for the second test starting Saturday. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for pharmacies, convenience stores, beauty salons, and more. Corney?
Business Outsurance is definitely the best insurance for my business. Bowled out every other insurance house. Honestly, looking at what you need, my installment came down within a day. Definitely the most professional.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Take your leadership to the next level. Wits Business School, in partnership with France's top-ranked Kedge Business School, is launching the Wits Kedge MBA in Global Executive Leadership, a powerful new program designed for senior leaders ready to think globally and to lead with impact. Join the online information session on 20 November at 5:30 p.m. to discover how this world-class MBA can transform your career. Register now at wbs.ac.za. That's wbs.ac.za. The Wits Kedge MBA in Global Executive Leadership, shaping global leaders for a changing world.
EWN Traffic.
All right, 19 minutes before 9 o'clock. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo, what you got?
Well, if you're leaving the south of Joburg right now, heading towards the Joburg CBD, you only have to deal with the delays along the Mark 1 North between Boysons Road and Carr Street, about a 15-minute hold up there. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West between Boysons Road and the Crown Turn Off. If you're heading towards the Sandton area or even Standing Hill, do expect delays along the N3 North between Vincent Chabalala Road and the Baklu Interchange. Roadworks are causing these delays, and there's more roadworks in Tembisa along the R21 North right near Olifantsfontein Road. Do expect about a 20-minute hold up there heading towards the city of Tshwane. More updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
To sell or not to sell? That is the question. Whether selling a car, bike, boat, or bakkie, WeBuyCars offers instant payment and a stress-free experience. Simply complete the form on webuycars.co.za for the best offer. Trading in or shopping for your next ride? Explore over 12,000 vehicles online or visit WeBuyCars in store. Whether buying or selling, head to WeBuyCars today.
Dreaming of a tropical escape? World Leisure Holidays has your ticket to paradise with exclusive getaways to the Indian Ocean Islands. From the beaches of Mauritius and the Maldives to the charm of Madagascar, Seychelles, Zanzibar, and more, your dream destination awaits. Take advantage of early bird specials and pay stay offers. Call 011-285-2500 and mention 702 for a mystery discount. Or follow us on social media or contact your nearest travel professional. Start planning your escape today. T's and C's apply.
This year, the City of Gold will be welcoming 19 countries for the G20 happening for the first time in South Africa. And tomorrow, John Perlman will be talking to Neptal Khoza from Santam. He'll discuss the importance of this sponsorship, Santam's involvement in the G20 Disaster Risk Reduction Working Group, and other Santam initiatives and programs. Don't miss the conversation on 702 Drive with John Perlman tomorrow between 3 and 6 p.m. Let's walk the talk.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyatela Show
on 702.
All right, coming up on the Clement Manyatela Show. Good morning, Clement.
Good morning.
Hope your guests don't drop you.
I was
at
looking
the last
forward to actually
minute.
hearing that conversation with Kanita, because I read the opinion piece yesterday and I had some thoughts. I spoke to people in the Border Management Authority around the process that they followed, and I really was interested to hear what exactly is she critiquing about how the process was followed. Because I'm interested in that, Bongani. I understand that, of course, when people are coming from a war-torn zone, when they arrive in a country and we are a country that has pledged allegiance with them, we need to be more understanding. But understanding doesn't mean that you don't follow the processes. Understanding doesn't mean you just allow people to get off a plane. It's you must still allow the processes. And yes, maybe the Border Management Authority, here's one thing or two that they haven't done right. But from the information I got is they followed the process. The ambassador even told us the people didn't want to apply for asylum, which is what complicated things.
Well, she said she has a last-minute work request and she had to oblige that. But of course, she says she's not a public official. She's not obliged to be interviewed on our station. And you then have to wonder why she took the request and didn't honor her own commitment. And maybe that says something about the kind of people we have writing those pieces in the first place. What else is on the program?
So, on the open line today, we're going to have a conversation about the 3 different commissions of inquiry. Can you imagine? 3 different commissions of inquiry as we speak. Well, the parliamentary inquiry and the other 2 commissions, and they're important witnesses that are coming there. So, we'll talk about why their testimonies matter on the 702 open line. We'll also have a conversation about the United Nations Security Council yesterday that voted to adopt U.S. President Donald Trump's Gaza peace plan. The issue here is that peace plan talks about a Palestinian statehood, but even the Prime Minister of Israel still says, we don't agree with that. So is there any hope that phase 2 of this U.S. Gaza peace plan will be implemented well? That's a conversation we're going to have. And then at 10 o'clock, we take our listeners live at the Madlanga Commission to hear from Brown Mokhodzi. Remember, he promised the day I appear at the Madlanga Commission, you're going to see flames. He's going to speak and expose things. So will he do that? That's at 10 o'clock. 11 o'clock, we do our World of Work Future. And today we're discussing how to deal with boredom in your career. Have you ever felt like bored?
In different jobs I have done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with this show, you've never felt bored?
I think there are those moments. No, not yet.
Yeah?
No.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel bored doing your show?
Yes, actually. Honestly, sometimes I do because, that's the nature. You come, you do. That's why what I try to do on my show is I try bring in different features, like a series on this. Otherwise, you're going to have the same thing all over and all over again. So I always feel the need to rejig and re-energize the show in different ways so that we keep it fresh.
I have been more in the opposite scenario where I have come maybe deflated, maybe a little down. And by the time I leave the show, I'm on a high.
You're on a high.
Because I find the work that I do so fulfilling. But
that's
also,
the benefit I get to.
Principally because of the engagement with 702 Landers. I think that's probably the most exciting part. And the fact that there are days you will hear and sort of a left field comment.
Something you never thought you ever would.
How did we get there?
Yeah.
So no 2 days are the same.
Yeah. And 11:30 we wrap up the show with our health and wellness feature. And today we're going to be talking about something that we've debated many times. Shower versus bathing. Are you more of a shower person or do you bath? And what's the more healthier? We're going to speak to experts about that.
I don't know about the health
I'm sorry.
difference.
I'm a showerer. I don't have time to be taking a bath. Where do you get time to take a bath?
Every now and again. There's nothing better than an afternoon soak, and you are just sitting there as the sun is going down, and you just enjoy when you have the time.
I don't have time for that.
Typically, no. Stand there for 30 seconds and you're done.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm clean. Do I smell this morning? No.
Between 9 and 12.
Wow, Bongani. Did Kanita Hunter really say she's not a public official and she's not obligated to come and chat about the opinion piece she wrote? I'm really surprised by that because I've always, watched her and seen her as a person who contributes to the, country's public discourse, debates, and all of that. So I'm really surprised that was her response. Wow, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, she sent a message to my producers. Hi, just want to register my deep disappointment with your host for roasting me for not being able to do an interview. I had a last-minute work request that I had to oblige. I'm sorry for dropping you at the last minute, but I'm not a public official and I'm not obliged to be interviewed. So my question then is, why did you accept the request in the first place? And secondly, it's about your opinion piece, which presumably gives you exposure to people to go and read it. I don't think not being a public official means you're not obligated to honor your commitments, surely, even if you're a journalist and a famed political author?
At Chamberlain's, there's something for everyone. From building supplies for the home renovators to garden essentials for the homemakers. From power tools for the DIY doers to painting supplies for the patio Picassos. We even have coffee for the slightly sleepy and snacks for the young ones. And for the ones who can never quite find what they're looking for, we have you covered too. With our promise to find and source whatever you need. Chamberlain's, famous for hardware since 1903.
Let me get this right, Ron. You're a plumber by day and Pretoria's smoothest wedding DJ by night.
Yeah, it started out as a passion and now I've got bookings until December. And a smoke machine that needs its own seatbelt.
And you sold your car to buy a van through We Buy Cars.
Brew, it was music to my ears. Zero admin, no long queues. They pulled in, checked it out, and before I knew it, I had cash in the bank.
Now that's a banger. We Buy Cars. Geared for your passion, geared for you.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Morning, Bongani. This is Selma from Rugby. It always astounds me, these politicians and those, that they are so quick to say they've all got all these qualifications and they're so clever, etc. When it comes to obviously running a municipality or a country or a portfolio, they are clueless. But when it comes to embezzling money, oh boy, they know so much how to do that. It leaves me standing. Thanks for a lovely show. Bye.
Morning, Bongani. I'm very happy that the politicians will at least get a matric. But I can tell you, in a municipality, there is the political constituency and there's those that are competent and employed. They give the reports to the politicians so that they can make the right decisions. As long as the politicians have the poor work ethic and service delivery value are non-existent, we're not going to go anywhere with those degrees. They can come with their master's degrees and PhDs and they still steal the money with those degrees. They need to improve their work ethic and service delivery values. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Onto this now, the end of the world, or at least the story feels like it. Survivors wandering through ruins, storytellers gathering in corners, and from their voices, a strange, vibrant, and sometimes hilarious world takes shape. This is Afro-apocalypse, a 14-strong ensemble that mixes physical comedy, puppetry, and magical realism. The stories draw from South African myths, legends, modern fables, and it all turns into laughter, reflection, and a kind of unforgettable chaos. Daniel Buckland is the director of this fantastic new production that is on at the Market Theatre. It's already, of course, had an acclaimed run at the 2025 National Arts Festival. It won the Standard Bank Gold Ovation Award. Afro-apocalypse returns to Johannesburg on at the Market from the 19th of November to the 7th of December. Daniel, always a pleasure to chat to you on our show. Thank you for your time.
What a pleasure to chat to you, Bongani. How are you?
The end of the world is something that feels scary. I'm fine, thank you, by the way. The end of the world we imagine as something scary, but in this production, it's funny, it's imaginative, and full of life in a sense.
Yes, I mean, it seems to be a kind of contradiction that often we see the end of the world through a lens of what could have gone wrong, how do we kind of wring our hands about it. But I suppose in this case, there's so much stuff going wrong from all corners. I suppose that's just the state of the world generally, but it feels like that specifically now. That there's a kind of, you can look at through the lens of how ridiculous and how hilarious a lot of it, the stuff is. And it gives us an opportunity dealing with the end of the world to catastrophize everything and take it to its nth degree to show how absurd our current situation is, I suppose.
Look, I mean, if you think of, I suppose, popular Western culture and stories, the end of the world, I don't know, is about the destruction of the world's great cities from elsewhere rather than necessarily from an African perspective. What does that lens offer in terms of uniqueness to the concept of an apocalypse?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I suppose that's our main lead-in is looking at Africa as the result of this kind of, in some ways, having contributed in some small ways, but being kind of led into this catastrophe by the rest of the world. And it looks at kind of resources. Africans generally have a lot less resources compared to the rest of the world. So in some ways have been hustling with less for longer. But also the impacts of kind of global catastrophe hits Africa in a more severe, direct way than the rest of the world, just because we are lost on the kind of global shopping list, and we are neglected a lot of the time.
All right, Daniel, let's get straight into what actually happens in the play. I mean, we can talk sort of thematically now, but what actually happens in the play? How does this play begin? How is it the end of the world? What gets us here, and where do we go from there?
Yes, so the actual reasons for the end of the world are up for grabs, as is the state now. It's anyone's guess. So the actual calamity that starts the show is a wild, vibrant, terrifying, kind of nondescript act that the rest of the show looks to characterize and give a face to. So it starts off with this kind of acrobatic, choreographed catastrophe that's quite impactful and hectic. And then we meet these traveling griots, these African storytellers who are existing in the wasteland with this undefined threat that's hanging over them. And then they travel through the wasteland, finding survivors and telling them stories about how the world ended. And each one has got a different kind of take on how the world ended. And they draw a lot from stories that are South African. Jan Rabi's story of Didri Karl Kopper, and some Credo Mutwa, the chameleon, and a range of other popular South African mythologies to kind of look at what brought it down. It dips its toe into some politics, into some South African politics. So that's kind of the thrust of it, is finding these wild and amplified versions of how the world ended, comic and fun and dark and sometimes poignant, hopefully.
Credo Mutwa meets puppetry. I think that's going to be an interesting part of how this unfolds. For theatre lovers, or actually for anybody looking for a playful but adventurous theatre experience, this is the one to see, hey?
Yeah, look, it has been an absolute jewel to make. The performers, the cast, the rest of the crew have all been really willing to go on this quite silly, wild adventure, and the responses we've gotten so far have just been just amazing. Taking it down to festival just kind of blew our expectations out of the water. So to have it here at the market feels like a really, really exciting evolution of where it was going.
The Market Theatre production of Afro-apocalypse, starting from the 19th of November to the 7th of December. You can get your tickets, of course, from Web Tickets or at the Market Theatre box office.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
I don't know what it is, but she drives me crazy.
.702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Good morning, Bongani and the listeners of 702. It's amazing. this is who's fooling who. Are the Palestinians fooling us, or is the ANC again on it? Because Ronald Lamola acted as if he didn't know. They know these people, man. Remember with the Guptas at Otakloof base, they acted as if they didn't know. They know there's a mission behind these Palestinians. Let's wait, watch, and see. But trust no one. Trust not this ANC government. That's Madimu Mutiba.
Hey, Manubang, Obren Fosdoras. Bongani, the issue of the Palestinians, the plane landing here by our OR Tambo. You're forgetting to mention that apparently this is the second plane. In October, there's one that has landed from the same destination, from the same place coming to South Africa. So maybe today the fourth one is landing. And we can't say anything. Remember, we are having visitors, so we are trying to be good. So whatever happens will be on our good behavior. We can't send them back. As I'm saying, by December the 25th, the 25th plane would have landed and nothing to say about it. And thanks to guys like Gift of the Givers, who instead of intervening in a right manner, they are criticizing our government for trying to get our security strategies in place. Thank you, Bongs.
Morning, Bongani and listeners. What's worrying Bongani is the South African. There's not much opportunity for our local people, and yet we're extending a hand to refugees. It's always good, but how about looking at, do we have the resources to take care of our very own?
It is a pity we weren't able to have that conversation, because I think it would have clarified one or two issues. I did mention this was indeed not the first plane, we now understand. Whether many more might be coming remains to be seen. Unfortunately, that's where we're going to have to leave it. Clement Manyata will carry on this discussion and ask some of those questions because, of course, the Clement Manyata Show starts now.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We start with news just in. The city of Ekurhuleni has launched an internal investigation into all officials in the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Last week, the commission heard alarming testimony from several officials alleging the Ekurhuleni Metro Police Department has been